What's up? 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 What is up? How are y'all doing today? It is Friday, and y'all know what that means. That means we're gonna have us a good old time tonight. I am your host, Emmanuel Eman Noisette. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming out tonight to hang out with your boy. We've got a couple of things. We got a lot of things that we got to catch up on and talk about. I am going to talk about some of Marvel's reported priorities. We're going to talk about the Gina Carano case. We got actually we got a couple of political things to talk about. So hold on to your butts with that. And then I will be giving you guys my review for the movie Weapons that just came out, and so much more stuff. So we will get cracking on that. Guys, I really missed you. I am so sorry for not being able to come out and be with y'all last week. And I'm running like a chicken with my head cut off, unfortunately. Well, I think homeowners will understand this, right? It's always something. I'm downstairs, I'm making breakfast for the kids, I'm making my homemade, famous French toast and everything. All of a sudden, drip drip drip. I'm like, what is going on? Whole ceiling is dripping because apparently something is going on in the bathroom upstairs, which is connected to the kitchen, and water is coming out of the light fixture. And I'm sitting here like, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, this ain't like a toilet that's clogged. It's not just, no, if you got water coming down through the ceiling, you probably got water damage, you probably got mold. And all I could think about was like, all right, I got to get a plumber. Then I probably got to get a contractor. Then I got to get. So, anyway, we going to do this so I can take my mind off of that. I'll deal with that tomorrow and we're going to get that resolved. But I'm here and we are going to talk about some movie stuff. And I need to see who has made it out today so I can give some quick shout outs. Paulette is in here. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Hold on. Let me turn on the comments. I want to make sure y'all part of this too. Robert, appreciate you coming through. What's going on, Ms. Harper? Thank you so much for being here. Corey, good to see you. King Chad is here. What is up? My man Nelson V is here. How you doing? Theo, good to see you. Ism, appreciate you coming through. 60 plus, how you doing? My man Mike is here. What is up, Eugene? Good to see you. Come on through. Kristen Pratt is here, holding it down for the Mod Squad. Appreciate you. Treese, hello, hello. Mama J, I see you. Who's that? That's Tasha. I see you too. Thank you so much. We got the homie Tracy is here. Thank you so much. Let's see, Rock. Rock? Hello, hello. Let's see, Tyra. I see you as well. Good to see you. My man Mitch is here. Who else did I see? Mary, appreciate you. The only smoke. Samke, sorry. Thank you so much. Mad, hello. Kiki West coming through. Appreciate you. Soto, hello, hello. My man Dex is here. Rhonda, hello. Ray, what is going on? Stamina MC, appreciate you coming through. Javon, good to see you. Phil Roy, hello, hello. And let's see. Talented One, what is going on? Good to see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all coming through. All right, so let's go through. There was a couple of things. There was a lot of things that we got to go through. So I'll be doing a mixture of stuff from the week before and this week. So we will get into all of this. And by the way, shout out to the replay gang as well. I see y'all. So yes, let's do this first. Let's do the quick updates. Listen, we talked about this before, but a lot of these studios are sick of y'all. They are sick of you. They sick of your cousin. They sick of your family. They sick of your friends. They sick of all of y'all that keep on sharing these passwords and they not playing with you no more. And it looks like WB is going to be the next one up. And they say, listen, we already told y'all we was going to crack down on that password sharing. But for HBO Max, it will get aggressive next month. Yikes. I have never heard a studio talk about anything getting aggressive. So if you turn on your HBO and it ain't working, don't even bother calling your friend or your cousin or whoever. Don't call them. It's done with. It's done with. They not playing with y'all no more. They sick of it, and it's over with. I don't know how they gonna track that. Like, I don't know. But we'll see how that goes. Now, speaking of streaming platforms, we do have another one to consider, and that is Hulu. So for all y'all that out there that got Hulu or whatever, Hulu will be fully integrated into Disney Plus starting in 2026. So that standalone Hulu app, it's out of here. It's done. It's over. The weird thing about this is, not the fact that they're not going to merge together. Like, it kind of makes sense. Disney practically owns Hulu anyway. What bothers me, and it's a small thing, my TV came with a pre-designed Hulu button, as if Hulu was going to be here to stay. What's going to happen to my button now? I got a Prime Video button, I got a Netflix button, and I had a Hulu button. Now that Hulu button, like, is it going to switch over or is it going to not work? I don't know. But anyway, I actually like the fact that they're putting it all in Disney Plus. I was not a big fan of the Hulu app. It was okay, but I've always wanted the content from Hulu to go on to Disney Plus because it feels like a better integration. So I do like the fact that they're doing this. This is going to make things simpler. Now, I also think it'll be a sneaky way for them to rationalize further price hikes. It's coming. We know it's always going to come. But at the end of the day, I think I've also talked about this too. There's going to be a point, and we're probably already there, where we can't afford to keep multiple streaming platforms. We will kind of go back to something like cable at some point. It's going to go back 360, right? But I get the impression that before we go back to cable, so to speak, or something like it, because somebody's going to bundle these things up, I think you're going to start seeing some of these companies absorbing other streaming platforms. I won't be surprised if, Apple got money, so I won't even use them. Let's say Peacock. Who watches Peacock? But let's say it's Peacock. I could totally see them sitting there being like, hey, you know what, Amazon, just pay us for these shows, right? Amazon, just come, Netflix, just license this stuff out, and we'll just give y'all content, and y'all just pay us on the side. Somewhere down the line, I do believe we will just have maybe 3, maybe just 4 big players, but those 3 or 4 big players, they're going to have everyone else's stuff. Paramount Plus, come on, man, stop playing. Like, ain't nobody finna sit here and pay y'all $10, $15 to watch 2 shows. No, not doing that. So those things are going to get absorbed over time, I think. But it is interesting to see that Disney is doing that with Hulu, at least for now. Speaking of which, with the studios, y'all remember when what was that, HBO, or was it HBO Now, or was it HBO TV? No, it was HBO Max, but then they went back to HBO. Y'all remember the nonsense with HBO? Well, listen, it looked like, they got it from their daddy, right? They must have, because apparently WB Discovery is now going to go back to being called Warner Brothers. Just plain old WB. As if anybody was really calling them Warner Brothers Discovery this whole time. We was always still calling you WB anyway. Says Warner Brothers Discovery is splitting in half into Warner Brothers, which is going to be streaming and movie studio assets, and Discovery Global, which will be the cable networks. Yes, please. That's the way it should have been from the very beginning. That is exactly how it should have been from the jump. So I am happy that they are learning their lesson. If only Twitter would go back. Just because I still see people struggle with calling Twitter X. Just call it Twitter. It's no reason to hold on to this. Just go on back. We've seen HBO backtrack when they tried to just go to Max. right? That didn't work. Didn't nobody go around saying, hey, you watch Max? No, doesn't nobody know what y'all talking about. You talking about HBO or not? So I like the fact that they're going back to WB. Just keep it. I keep telling y'all, there's no reason to establish all this name brand, equity to just throw it away because y'all did a merger or y'all did something. What? Like Paramount, they just merged with Skydance. Now they're called Skydance Corporation. That's stupid. I've never even said the word Skydance in the last 10 years, if not before that. Like, I've said Paramount. I think everybody knows Paramount, but you're going to sit here and get rid of Paramount for Skydance? Who cares about Skydance? Anyway, we'll get to them a little later. Moving on, we have for my Sicario fans out there, if you liked the first and second Sicario movie, well, Sicario 3 is very, very real, according to Josh Brolin. I will say that I liked the first Sicario movie a lot. I did not like the second one as much as I liked the first one. I thought it was still fine. So I'm a little iffy about what and where they will go with a third one. Like, do we need a third one? What is the third one even going to explore? I don't know, but I thought Benicio del Toro did an amazing job in both films. I really enjoyed him. And Josh Brolin was cool. Josh Brolin was cool. Emily Blunt was cool. Daniel Kaluuya was also good. So good performances overall, but I'm iffy on, I don't know. I think I need a trailer. I think I need to see a trailer, and then we'll go and see if that's worth it. We have a Star Wars update. Now, you guys know that there's a Ryan Gosling Star Wars movie. I believe it's called Star Wars Starfighter or something like that. This does take place about 5 years after the Rise of Skywalker. Yes, I know. I'm sorry I had to bring that up. But it does take place 5 years after that. So this is where we can actually see the story progressing forward. Well, in addition to Ryan Gosling being one of the obviously the protagonist, the good guy here, we have a report about who the villain will be, and it'll be played by Matt Smith. Yes, that's right. So Matt Smith has been cast as the villain in the Starfighter film. And this also stars Mia Goth. So I think that this is a perfect fit. Matt Smith is a phenomenal actor. A lot of people know him from Doctor Who. Some people, unfortunately, know him from Morbius. I like him more from House of the Dragon. Okay, but because he's a bad Targaryen right there. But he is a great actor. So putting him as a villain, I think, is a great choice. I don't know who they're gonna have him play. This whole Star Wars film feels like it's gonna be something very original and very different. So I'm cool with that. Let's just see what happens. I still need the Force. I still need some lightsabers. I need something like that, because if we just doing starfighters, I don't know. But I do like this idea of putting Matt Smith as a villain. He can do it. Let's see. Next up, we have. I think we talked about this, but it was only a rumor at this point. But now it's official. Michael Bay is officially in talks to develop the new Transformers movie. Man, I don't know. I mean, maybe. Okay, I guess. Like, the Transformers franchise had been going down the toilet. Like, the first movie, I was in it. I was here for it. Shia LaBeouf, like, what was it, Megan Fox or whatever? Like, I was here for it. It was fine. It was good. Second one, third, fourth, fifth, sixth one. Oh my God. They fumbled the ball on those movies so bad, because all they started to do was forget that the Transformers were the actual main characters in the movies. They was like, nah, let's go talk about the humans that nobody signed up for. Nobody said, let me go to the Transformers movie so I can learn more about the humans. No one said that. I don't know. I mean, Michael Bay, you know one thing, you're gonna get a whole lot of explosions. You're gonna have a whole lot of shiny stuff all in front of you, blowing up, slow motion. Is that enough? I don't know. I don't know. Personally, I need more of a Transformers story for a Transformers movie. But we'll see. I don't know. I get the feeling he about to Hollywood this up, though. I don't know. Next up. Oh, next up, guys. So I did a whole review for this before. It was the Predator Killers on Killers of Killers. Loved this movie. If you're a Predator fan, I think it is right up your alley. It was fantastic. And apparently, Dan Trachtenberg, the director, looks like we're getting a little bonus content. Now, I haven't seen this yet. I do need to go see it just because I was curious. I thought they were going to do this. But it says here that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny Glover will appear in a new ending for Predator Killer of Killers. This was added. I think it was added last week. Yeah, it was added last week. So it should be on Hulu right now. And it says that he met with Arnold to talk about what they could do with Dutch in the future. I love this. I love this. Like, first of all, you know, I if you want to talk about some possibilities, you could do a couple of things. One, I guess you could do kind of like maybe you could do the Terminator route where you bring Dutch back and it's just the older version of Arnold and he just comes back. Maybe. I think it'd be better if they do this animated so that way you can use Arnold's voice and you can use the younger Dutch and still keep that story going. If you've seen the end of Killer of Killers, then you know how they're going to do that. I won't spoil it for y'all. So I think they could do it animated first. If they want to do live action, they could bring back the old Dutch. I'm not so sure if they could bring back Danny Glover. I mean, my man is getting a little bit up in age, so I don't know if that would work per se. But I like this. I like the idea of bringing the other better Predator movie into the mix as something that, you know, connects, you know, all the way forward to the current. So I like that. I'm with it. And I can get down with it. So I'm cool with this. And right now, Trachtenberg, I mean, this is the same guy that did Prey, same guy that did Killer. He's doing the Predator Borderland. He has my trust. I'm with it. Let's go. Let's see. Next up, we got Eddie Murphy in another role. He revealed that he is playing Inspector Clouseau in Pink Panther movie. You know what? I have to say, as a kid, I never liked the Pink Panther. Now, I'm not saying I didn't like the cartoon or the little comic strip or whatever. What I did not like was being sent off. I did not like, what was it? Steve Martin. You know, Steve Martin used to play the Pink Panther or whatever. I didn't like that. I was like, yo, where's the actual Pink Panther? Why is this guy? I didn't sign up for no detective movie. Now, I was a kid. I didn't know that it was based off of that. But I was like, who is this Inspector Clouseau? I don't care about him. I didn't come for that. Where is the cartoon? You know, I wanted my cartoon. So I have a bad relationship with the Pink Panther movies. You know, if it ain't a cartoon, I don't know. I just don't have a connection with this. So I can't even be excited. I love Eddie Murphy, but I can't even get excited for this. So okay. Well, anyway, if y'all have like the original, you know, old movies or whatever, let me know if this is something you're liking. If you like the fact that, you know, Eddie Murphy is doing this, let me know. Next up we have, now this is interesting. We know Across and Into the Spider-Verse were phenomenal, right? Those were absolutely great Spider-Man films. And one of the best aspects of Across the Spider-Verse was obviously being introduced to all these different Spider-Men And it looks like we're getting a spinoff because a Spider-Punk animated movie is now in the works, and Daniel Kaluuya is co-writing the film. So I like this. Spider-Punk was, I think, a very well received highlight in Across the Spider-Verse. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to need the captions. I need the subtitles because I did struggle, with some of his with the accent. Listen, he got a thick accent. Where's Stamina at? Stamina, you hear? I don't know if that's a Southern London thing, but like it's thick. It's a thick accent, and it was a little hard sometimes for me to catch everything he was saying. So to give me a whole movie, I'm gonna need them subtitles. That's all. I'm here for it, but I'm gonna need the subtitles. Anyway, I like this though. I like this. He is a good character. He is interesting. We know that he had all this stuff. Um, he had all this stuff going on with the other Spider-Men, so maybe they'll go into that backstory. We'll see. Let's see. Oh, that's North London. Okay. I do. You're right. No, you're right. I need to listen. I watched Supercell. Now, I don't know if Supercell is also North London. I don't know. But I tried with that. So I'm trying to get into more of the Black London accents so I can, get more to. Yes, I need the bruvs, right? Give me all the bruvs and all the other slang and stuff. I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm trying. I am trying. Okay. Deck Supercell is south. Okay, see, I don't know. I don't know y'all maps. I don't know y'all maps. I can't tell. I don't know. I'm trying though. I am trying. Thank you for that. Thank you. It's actually kind of similar over here in Chicago too. Like, you're gonna have the west side, and then you're gonna have the south side, and then the north side. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I want to get people all live. That's gonna be a whole nother discussion. All right, moving on. It looks like we have an update for The Passion of the Christ by Mel Gibson. Yes, I know. Yes, it's that same Mel Gibson. But Passion of the Christ looks like it is now going to be split up into 2 parts. Part 1 is going to release March 26, 2027. Part 2 will release 40 days later, May 6th, 2027. I heard people say this is going to be the Avengers Endgame and Infinity War for Christians. And you know what? It just might be. It might be. It might be. And I can't be mad at that. Now, listen, I fully acknowledge Mel Gibson does not have the best track record. Mel Gibson does not come off to be the kind of guy I would want to have a beer with personally. And I'm still feeling the type of way that for whatever reason, he still like it's 2020, it's about to be 2027, and you still can't get a Jesus that's not white. You still can't get one, just a Middle Eastern looking guy. Just do somebody that don't have to naturally tan. Just you couldn't get a brown guy. Anyway, with that said, I still did like Passion of the Christ. It's one of the highest grossing rated R films at that of all time. So one thing I can't deny is he is a good director, right? You might not like him personally, have plenty of grievances with him, but you can't deny the fact that the man does know how to make a good movie. And to do something of this nature and of this storytelling from what he wants to try and do, it does sound like a big project. So, I mean, I think Passion of the Christ was like 3 hours long. So, if you want to break this up into like 2-hour movies, okay, I guess, But I don't know. You guys let me know. Are you looking forward to a Passion of the Christ part 2 and part 1 and part 2? Is that something that you want to see? I don't know. Y'all feel free to let me know. Let's see. Next up, oh, now this is going back. This is going back. This is for the 80s babies, maybe the 80s kids too, but the 80s babies, 90s kids. But this was definitely something I used to watch, and that is my man Gizmo back in the day. Gremlins 3 has a script and it's waiting to be approved by Steven Spielberg himself. WB is incredibly interested in making the film. See, this is the issue I have with stuff like this. Now, Gremlins 1, I remember watching this as a kid. Gremlins 2, I also remember watching that as a kid. I don't know if they hold up for today. I don't know. But my issue with the Gremlins is the fact that this is what happens when you have old people who are in charge and they like, hey, remember back in the day when Gizmo and the Gremlins was doing some things? Man, that was a good time. We should bring that back. No, you shouldn't. I don't think so. The main reason I say I don't think you should bring it back is because you've let too much time go by, right? I think it's not the best idea, and I could be wrong, but I don't think it's the best idea to let a whole generation and a half go by and then you want to resurrect something, because what happens now, the main people that are going to be appealed to this with the nostalgia factor are probably going to be 35 and up, maybe. That's not enough of a demographic grab, I think, that you want for theaters. Like in theaters, you want to get almost as many people, young, middle-aged to older, as you can, rather than just trying to isolate a generation. It's the same reason I feel the same way I feel about a Flash Gordon. I didn't grow up with Flash Gordon. So when they talk about making a Flash Gordon movie, I don't care. I don't even think I've seen it in completion. I've seen little bits and pieces, but I have zero connection because that was something that was a little bit before my time. So if you're going to sit here and wait, you're not going to have TV shows. You're not going to have like comic books. You're not going to have nothing to kind of help bridge the gap. I think it's a very big risk to take to do something like this. So, I mean, listen, I got love for my little man Gizmo, don't get him wet, right? But good luck. Good luck. I mean, will I watch it? Sure. Can I be certain that my kids will want to see it? I doubt it. Anyway, next up, we got a bunch of quick updates. So let's keep going. Quiet Place. I liked The Quiet Place Part 1. I thought it was fantastic. It was amazing. It was original. It was one of the best theatrical experiences I've had, where the second you get in there, everybody was quiet. Did nobody want to eat their popcorn. They didn't want to open up their bag of chips, and nobody wanted to do. You didn't even want to cough when you was watching A Quiet Place for the first time, and it was great. Then the movie did really well. All of a sudden, the studio was like, "Give us some more." John Krasinski was like, "Hey man, I only made this movie one time. Like, I'm not trying to do some more." But hey, money was nice, and they made my man do a part 2. They kind of forced it, but it was still good. I still liked the second one. Wasn't as good as the first, but it was still solid. Then they did A Quiet Day Part, what was it, day 1 or something like that? Whack. Did not like it. Was not a fan. That's the most recent one, if I'm not mistaken, with Lupita Nyong'o in there. I was not a fan. I was not a fan. I was like, man, if y'all don't get rid of that damn cat, if you don't stop for some pizza, man, if y'all don't get out my face with this. Anywho, I think that was supposed to be a prequel or something like that. Whatever. But it looks like, because they definitely don't want to stop that train. They like that money train. A Quiet Place Part 3 will release July 9th, 2027 in theaters. And what's got my attention is John Krasinski will come back to write and direct it. Okay. If you told me that it was going to be just Quiet Place Part 3, I'd be like, man, just give me a trailer. Maybe I'll care. I probably won't. But if you're going to have John Krasinski come back and write and direct it, now I'm interested. Now you have my attention. Now I am curious because this man has not let me down yet with this franchise. So I'm very, very intrigued to see what are they going to do? Where is he going to go with this? Is this going to stay with the same perspective of with his family or Emily Blunt's character, or are we going to go to a different family's perspective? Are we going to see what happens, after part 2? Or are we going to go back even further in the past? Like, what are we going to do? So I'm interested. He's earned my trust. I want to see where they go with this. So I'm actually down for this. I'm okay with this. Next up, we have Kevin Hart and John Cena will star in a new action comedy called The Leading Man for Netflix. The film follows a self-absorbed movie star who discovers that his co-star is a secret agent. I guess the main question I have for this is, did anyone tell The Rock? Did anyone tell The Rock that Kevin Hart was out here cheating on him with John Cena? Because I feel like this just sounds like, what was that, Central Intelligence Part 2? Like, didn't you already do this? I could have sworn y'all had the same thing already done. You had a wrestler. Are y'all switching roles? Like, is Kevin Hart going to be the secret agent now? Like, what's happening? Somebody needs to tell The Rock. So I hope I don't know if he cleared this with him. I don't know, but it feels like a bit of a betrayal. Anyway, moving on, we got a new movie coming out, and all we have is a poster, but it's the description that sounds interesting. It's called Good Boy, and Good Boy, it is described as a horror movie shot from the perspective of a dog who sees its owner haunted by supernatural entities. Now, it's currently at 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, been called one of the most heartbreaking horror films in 2025. First of all, I don't trust any of those. Like, so what if it has a 95%? Let's see what that even means, because I've been telling y'all, don't listen to, okay, that's 95% out of 20 reviews. Out of 20 reviews. That does not mean that the movie is amazing or great. It just means out of 20 people, one person thought that it was lower than a 6 out of 10. That's all that means. So maybe it's cool, maybe it's not. I don't know. But I like movies that will take a familiar concept, but at the same time give us a different perspective. And it kind of makes me wonder how they're going to make that work. We see so many times in horror movies how the dog will be the first one to see or sense an evil presence or entity and just start barking, right? Like, look, I'm just go bark at that corner. Ain't nothing there from the human perspective, but I'm a bark at that corner, right? So, it'd be interesting to see, like, okay, are we going to see what the dog sees, even though the humans can't see it? Now, I'm just saying, I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm interested to see at least a trailer. Where are we going with this? Because I'm always down for new and original ideas, especially in a genre that's been pretty much done over and over again. So I'm interested in that, at least to see what the trailer looks like and where they go with it. Next up, we have The Social Network. So we talked about The Social Network Part 2. That was the whole Mark Zuckerberg Facebook thing. It was made by Aaron Sorkin and David Fincher, I believe. And now this time, Part 2, Aaron Sorkin wants to write and direct it, if I'm not mistaken. And the question was like, okay, like you got to get Jesse Eisenberg to come back because he did a phenomenal job playing Mark Zuckerberg in the film. So what's up? Well, Jesse has currently decided not to return in The Social Network Part 2. Now, let me just say, I don't know why he said no to this, but something tells me that this is going to be something he will regret. Aaron Sorkin is an award-winning writer. You don't usually get writers with his kind of credentials to kind of like give you an opportunity to be in something that may be another award winner. What are you passing this up for? Now You See Me Part 3, 4, 5? Like what Jesse, what are you doing? The Snyderverse is dead. It's dead. You're not playing Lex Luthor no more. What are you doing to pass up a role in something that I would argue probably put your name at a higher level? Because I had not seen Jesse Eisenberg get as much burn in Hollywood until after The Social Network, which allows you to go off and do all these other projects that you want to do, even if they fail, even if they don't do well. But you could always say, hey, I was, an Oscar award winning or Oscar nominated. You could say that. You gonna pass this up for what? Yeah, I think this is gonna be a miss. But they do have another contender. Here comes a new challenger. And it's none other than Jeremy Strong from Succession, who is apparently the top choice to play Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Network 2. I don't see how this works. Jeremy Strong is a good actor. I just don't see Mark Zuckerberg in him. If Jesse Eisenberg, I saw it. You could tell, man, you give both of these dudes like a crew cut, haircut, a little curly hair. Jesse and him, yes. With Jeremy, I don't know. Can you play a robot? If you could play a robot, you might be all right. But y'all gonna have to get on the makeup team for real. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how y'all gonna make this work. And I think it reminds me of like what somebody said, and I forget who they were saying, but like Mark Zuckerberg's face looks incredibly easy to draw, right? It's not complicated. Jeremy Strong has other strong features on his face. That's what I'm saying. Like, it just, I don't, I'm not an artist, but I feel like I could draw Mark Zuckerberg and like pop, 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 I'm done. I don't know if you could do that with Jeremy Strong. So I'm just saying, and people know what Mark Zuckerberg looked like. Are we going to believe it? Anyway, I don't know. Maybe, listen, they got Colin Farrell out here looking like the Penguin. So maybe they could work some magic and do something. But he don't look the part to me. He doesn't look the part. Next up, we have, oh God. You know what? I blame all of y'all for this. Because it's not as though we don't have enough trauma in our lives. I mean, we're living through a couple of wars, lived through a pandemic, lived through 2 recessions. Have we not endured enough trauma in our lifetime in our short lifetime. A new Final Destination movie is in the works. And the same woman who did Bloodlines is writing the script. Now, I liked Final Destination, but I just don't understand why we need to keep going through this. This is starting to become an abusive relationship. It is like we didn't even have time to recover. You could have given me another 10 years. Just another 10 years. Let me, I don't know, get some grandkids. Let me move on with my life. Before you sit here and put this into the ether. Why are you putting this in the atmosphere that y'all are trying to work on this again? I don't need new fears. I don't need it. I don't think it's necessary. But I might have to blame some of y'all because I think some of y'all went to go watch it. And y'all put money in their pockets. All right, what else do we have? Okay, like what? Let me just read this. Matt Rife, comedian, is now the legal guardian of the Annabelle doll. He has purchased the Connecticut home and a cult museum of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. If this is not the epitome of F around and find out, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, the question here is why? 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 When we I'm hoping this ain't the case, but if and when we find out Matt Rife just comes up missing or starts acting weird or whatever, listen. Why are you playing with fire? You know it's hot. Just because you ain't never got burned don't mean that you got to go buy a whole set of matches. This is like, this only adds to that whole mindset of like when they be like, oh, it's cool. Let's go spend the night in that haunted house. I'm sure nothing will happen. Now you're doing that mentality in real life. Because at first I was like, this has to be a joke. It has to be a joke, right? Like, I would have rather you made a joke and say, haha, I'm going to buy this one day because no, but you just did it. Just weird. Just y'all stay over there. You sir, you stay over there. Not even, I wouldn't even recommend people going to his comedy show because you don't know what bad juju he gonna bring along with him. You don't know what he's doing now. Nah, man. Nah. I like Matt Rife. He's a funny guy, but nah, G. I can't. We not doing that. We not doing that. Anyway, guys, let me know. What did you think about all those updates? Anything stand out to you? Anything that you like? Anything you want to hear more about? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let's see. We got a couple here. Tyra, please don't disrespect my mom. She loves Peacock. There's a joke there, and I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. Listen, if Mama Tyra loves her some Peacock, great. That's wonderful. I'm happy for her. What does she, Tyra, let me know. What does she watch on Peacock? I'm actually very curious. What is your mama watching on Peacock? Is it like, I don't even want to say that because I don't know how old Mama Tyra is. I don't know how old she is. But what is on Peacock that she's like, I got to tune in to this? Please feel free to let me know. I'm curious. I'm just really curious because I don't know. Listen, the only thing I watch on Peacock right now, I was watching The Chosen, but that's now on Amazon. So I watch it. I watch Chosen on there. It's wrestling. And now that's gone too. Because WWE, they just signed a whole deal with ESPN. So now SummerSlam, WrestleMania, all them things, they going on ESPN now. So I don't know what else Peacock has. That Twisted Metal. Your mama watching Twisted Metal? Okay. Okay. Listen, please tell Mama Tyra I said hello. Please tell her I said hello. Um you know what? Hey, Django Black, I'm gonna save your question for a little bit later, okay? Because I am gonna go into that. I love that question. I'm gonna go right into it. Oh, so save that. Save that. I'm gonna come right back to it, okay? Django Black, I'm coming for that question. I'm gonna skip it for now, but it's gonna tie into a topic later when we talk about Marvel and the priorities and stuff. So don't you worry about it. We will touch on that. Dion, what you got? Good evening, EFAM. If it's a direct sequel to the last Transformers movie that had the G.I. Joe Easter egg, I'm all in. Haven't seen Weapons yet, but I'm thinking about checking it out tomorrow since I'm off. Yeah, okay. So I will be. So first of all, my review for Weapons, since it is out and since it does, it just came out, it is going to be spoiler free. So if anybody's worried about it, I'm not giving out any spoilers, and I would hope nobody else gives any spoilers either. Let's keep it nice and surprising for people. But yeah, I mean, if they wanted to do it, I mean, maybe. I don't like the direction that they're going in. I don't like the idea that you want to just make a Transformers GI Joe movie and we don't know these GI Joes. You don't, not you, but like as a studio, you don't even know if this generation even cares about GI Joe, because we just had two not so good GI Joe movies in the past. So it's kind of like, what are y'all going to do that's going to revitalize that before you go mixing up and crossing up the brand? So maybe, I mean, again, I need a good trailer, I need something, but we'll see. Tracy, how many times you watched the Ice Cube War in the Worlds movie? A total of 0. Fat 0. My it's funny, my cousin literally just texted me just now and was like, hey man, I need you to watch this War of the Worlds, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't like bad movies. I don't like it. Like, here's the difference. And I think maybe I should explain this a different way. Like, I've told y'all about how my wife enjoys certain types of movies. The reason why I believe she likes those types of movies is because she likes to be entertained, right? She's just like everybody else out there. She wants to be entertained. If it's bad, it's something to laugh at. That's cool. That's fine. What are we in? 2025. I've been doing this critic thing since 2013. In other words, my brain has changed in terms of how I interact with movies and stuff. Now, of course, there are still certain things that I watch just for entertainment. I'm not here to analyze it or whatever. Yes. However, over the years, I have grown to have a certain mental callus when it comes to bad movies. I do not watch bad movies. I don't like them. They irritate my soul. They bother me. They are my kryptonite. If you want to piss me off, put me in front of a bad movie. I cannot do it. And I told y'all this before. You have to trick me into watching a bad movie. 28 years later, in my opinion, is a bad movie. But they got me. They tricked me. The trailers was fire. The writer and director came back from the movies I liked. The first half of the movie was on point. And then you turned it into trash. Like, you killed me. So I I do not get the same type of entertainment value that other people get in watching bad movies. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying I'm not built that way no more. I can't watch a bad movie and be like, ha ha ha, let's see how bad this is. No, I'm like, why am I here? Why is my brain subjected to this? I just lost 2 hours of my life that I cannot get back, that I could have been watching something better about. So if I know it's bad, if my critic senses tell me that it's bad, I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it. And I'm not one of those rage, YouTubers like I'm going to watch something bad just so I can tear it up later. No. Again, y'all going to have to catch me on a bad day. Y'all gonna have to catch me where I was watching something, I thought it was gonna be good, and it turned out to be bad. You know what? Actually, I can give you a good example of one that tricked me recently. The Lady in the Yard. Lady in the Yard. I'm not gonna give you a full review. This had Danielle Detweiler in there, fantastic actress, and it's a horror movie. I love horrors. I'm sitting here like, oh, okay, yes, Eternals, very good example. Terrible. But Lady in the Yard was really, really bad. The movie started off so interesting and compelling, and I'm like, oh, where are we going with this? What is this? Okay, this is cool. Come on, black girl magic, let's go. The ending made no sense. I mean, no sense. I'm watching this thing like, what? Did y'all give up? Did y'all try to get to the end and y'all was just like, what did y'all do to end that movie so terribly? It was such a bad movie. So, you have to trick me. I'm sorry. I can't go in there willingly to just give up my time. You just can't. You just can't. Let's see. Thank you for that. Django, Danny Glover's only a year older than Arnold. Is he? Well, listen. I have met Danny Glover, and he looked tired. And that's only I'm trying to be respectful about it. He looked older, like he did. That's why I'm just like, I don't know if he's at the age where he can still do a Predator movie live action. Maybe he could, maybe some right editing. I just didn't see it. That's all. So meeting him in person, that is what has informed my opinion about maybe. And if we're being honest, yeah, okay, he might be a year older, but they were not built the same, right? Like, Arnold versus someone his age, he's not normal, right? This is Arnold Schwarzenegger we talking about here. But that's just my opinion. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm not saying he's incapable. I'm just saying, like, he's older. He's just older. That's all. Kid Mello, what you got? The War on the World movie with Ice Cube was trash. So this is all I've been seeing. I've been seeing a lot of people say that the movie's bad, and it's like all it does is just confirm more reason why I don't need to get in on it. Like, what do I look like going in on a movie that everyone's already going in on? If it's bad, it's probably we get it. Okay, like it's bad, but listen, shout out to all of y'all that watched it. Thank you. Because usually I'm the one that takes the bullet for y'all. But y'all took it for me. So I appreciate the mutual exchange. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Because I would have woke up and just had a whole bad day. Like, it just would be bad. Like, 28 years later messed up my next 2 days. I was just walking at work, just mad. I was like, oh, it messed me up. But thank you. I appreciate you. Rygan, weapons. Listen, wait until the review. We gonna get to the review. I'm gonna get to the review. If y'all saw my short, okay, I showed y'all my pre-reaction and I showed y'all my out of theater reaction. You know how I feel about weapons. We're gonna talk about it, but there's so much I need to say. So much. But yes, we definitely gonna get in on that. Tyra, what you got? Okay. She somehow finds movies with every black actor known to man in it. She sound like my wife. She sound like Mrs. E-Man because Mrs. E-Man, we're like, what? How'd you find this other? Morris Chestnut did that too. Like, where? Wasn't he in the other Tyler Perry movie? Where did Lance Gross come from? I understand. Last weekend we were watching a rom-com with Taye Diggs and Omarion's baby mama. Tyra, I'm just gonna say this. Tell Mama Tyra, bless her heart. Just bless her heart. I hope she finds all the entertainment in Peacock. Listen, I don't fight this, right? My wife does this same thing. I let her be in her own. I just ask her, let me know when you going on your movie watch. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm leaving. But bless her heart. All right, we definitely going to come back to that, Django. Don't worry, we coming back because I have a lot to say about that as well. But we got some other topics we got to get to. Let's do a quick AMC update. Now, one thing that we talked about with the theaters has been their issue. Well, we got ticket prices that are an issue still. But one thing that we talked about has also been what y'all gonna do with all them trailers. We've talked about the trailers before. We talked about how, like, man, y'all need to change up the start times and stuff. Like, tell people when the movie's actually gonna start. Why are you playing these games? Don't nobody care about all. You get there, the movie start at 7. No, it don't. Start at 7:30 because you had 30 minutes of trailers. So we saw a couple weeks ago, AMC was saying, okay, cool, we're gonna start putting the actual start time up of the film, or they would let you know, hey, ahead of time, this movie got 20 minutes of trailers, 15 minutes of trailers, just something to give you a heads up. And I thought that was actually a good compromise because at the very least, you know what you're getting into, right? You know your buffer. Some people like to see all the trailers, right? So now we got an update here. And it says, after some major studios clutched their pearls over AMC Theaters' decision to book more ads before each movie's showtime, sources are telling Deadline that the number one circuit is working to shorten the pre-show, so less trailers are coming. Execs at the major studios began throwing furniture, metaphorically, angry. Oh, they pissed. They are mad that moviegoers no longer were sitting through their in-cinema trailers for future movies due to lengthy pre-shows. So they mad at y'all. Okay? Them studio execs, they are mad. They were like, listen, why are y'all not watching our trailers after we bamboozled you and lied to you about the start time of the movie? Why are you not allowing us to waste your time? They mad about it. Mad. Something tells me there's a bit of a disconnect going on, but whatever. Says adding more fuel to the fire was AMC running a notice on its ticket buying portal. Please allow 25 to 30 extra minutes for trailers and additional content before the movie starts. And some studio execs read that notice as, hey, moviegoers, why don't you just skip the pre-show until the movie starts? Ooh, they so mad. They are so mad. One internal study observed that only 80% of the audience were in their seats to watch the trailers a mere 4 minutes before a movie began. Listen, I'm that 80%. I'm that 80. Like, if I know a movie starts at 7, I'm going to the concession line. I'm going to go get my food. I'm going to wait. I'm going to go get my drink. I don't need the popcorn. Give me the food. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the food take 15 minutes. It's cool. I got time. Go ahead. Fry that up for me. Let me get a little extra ranch too right there. Yup. Yeah, that one too. Yup. I'm going to wait because the movie ain't finna start. And by the time, first of all, I don't even want to watch the trailers. because I don't like things, they be showing the extra spoily trailers. But yeah, and here's another thing. And y'all tell me if this is true. Y'all tell me if this is true for you or not. And maybe you're a little bit different because we're obviously not the everyday people because y'all are following the movie news and stay tuned and stuff. Do y'all even remember all the trailers that you see when you go to the movies? Because I remember there was a time where I would see movie trailers before the movie actually starts. And I'm sitting here like, when the movie is done, I don't remember half of the stuff that came out. Like, I don't remember them. I mean, now I do because I paid more attention to it. But I'm just saying, does the average person, do y'all think that people actually remember all those trailers? 30 minutes now. Keep in mind, you get only 1-2 minute trailers. So that's what, 15 trailers? Do y'all remember all those things? So is it really money well spent on the studios? I mean, y'all mad people not showing up. To me, I would assume rather than me paying the theater to put my trailer in the first 20-30 minutes that everybody's not going to watch, I'd be like, listen, we need a new system. So maybe the movie studios need to do this, because sometimes less is more. Maybe you should just do 2 trailers a piece per movie. I think people will remember at least 1 or 2 rather than like 10 or 15 or whatever they be playing now. Because if you just play those 1 or 2, it'll kind of be like, oh, okay, I can actually think about this. I can let that marinate for a little bit or whatever, and then go ahead and play. Or you could also do something, and this would be a little sneaky. This is actually how they used to do it back at like before my time. Play 1 trailer in the very beginning, and when the movie is over, play the other one. So maybe you're not getting a post-credit scene, but you might get a trailer for another movie that you didn't know about, and maybe that will actually have people thinking about it. That's actually what inspired post-credit scenes, because they used to play trailers at the end. So I'm wondering, will that be a better change of pace? Would y'all like that? Would y'all like to see maybe 1 trailer in the beginning, then you watch the movie, and then maybe if you decide to stay, you don't have to, maybe you stay and watch a trailer at the end. Is that something that would work? Do you think maybe 2 or 3 in the beginning is better? Y'all feel free to let me know your thoughts. But yeah, this whole thing, I'm down for less trailers. I've already talked about how I don't think trailers help the way that studios spam people in the first place. I think they need to show less trailers. And if you want, take the same trailer and just show the same thing over and over again in different formats. Trailers spoil things anyway. But anyway, y'all let me know, what do you think about that? And what AMC is doing? Do you side with the studio? Do you side with the theaters? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. All right. Okay, Mike, that movie wasn't that bad. I enjoy Cube's version. Listen, I love it when people say that. I love it when they say that, because it's in your own admission. It wasn't that bad. That just lets me know it's still bad. It's still bad, right? Hey, here's some food. I put some dirt and some boo-boo on it. All right, I took the boo-boo off. You gonna eat it? Listen, it's not that dirty. Right? Right? Like, it's not boo-boo. It's got some dirt on it, but it's not that bad, right? Oh man. Listen, I'm whatever. If you like it, that's fine. I've already told people it is nothing wrong to like a bad movie. We do it all the time. Everyone has liked a bad movie. Whether it's that bad or if it's really bad, I don't know. because I'm not gonna go find out. Okay, I'm not gonna find out. All I know is it's bad. That's all I know based off of everybody's consensus, and I'm cool with that. And that's from fans and critics. So you ain't gotta warn me. Let's see what you got. Anthony, my bro and I intentionally watch bad films to roast to see who can make the other laugh. Where the World is tomorrow and up, and he up 2-0. Well, see, now that's the thing, right? If that's how y'all get down, if that's how you want to have fun, go for it, right? That's cool. That's fine. Go for it. I enjoy it, right? Movies are supposed to be made for fun and entertainment, so go for it. All right, we got a Highlander update here. Keep in mind, this is the new rebooted Highlander. This is the one that has Henry Cavill in there, starring, in the main role. But now, looks like we finally got a potential villain, or I'm sorry, this is in the works. But Dave Bautista is in talks, in negotiations to play the villain in the upcoming Highlander movie. Now, keep in mind, this will be directed by Chad Stahelski. This is the same John Wick director that has been giving us fire lately. As I mentioned, Henry Cavill is going to be playing Duncan MacLeod. Not Duncan, Connor. He's playing Connor MacLeod. And Sean Connery had played Ramirez, but now that's going to be Russell Crowe. He's going to be playing that role that Sean Connery played in the old movie. But Bautista will have the role of the immortal barbarian known as the Kurgan, who has been killing other immortals across the centuries in order to absorb their essence. I love this. I mean, Henry Cavill going up against Dave Bautista. I think that is a good matchup on screen. Dave has been losing some weight. I don't think in a bad way. It's not like he looks sickly or anything, but obviously he's a little bit, slim up compared to his previous looks. And from what I understand, he's always wanted to be in Highlander. Like he's been doing that since he's been pitching for it since like 2015. So if he gets this role and he, finalizes it, good for him. Good for him. I am a Dave Bautista fan. I've been rooting for this dude to just do well and to continue with his acting. He's been only getting better over time. So I like this for him. I think this would be good. So I'm with it. Now, I don't remember. I did a binge a long time ago on Highlander because the movies were not very good. So I tried to watch every recap video I could to try and like catch me up. I don't even remember the Kurgan at all. I don't remember that. So I'm just going to go into this movie as fresh as possible. I do remember the TV show. The TV show was on point. But anyway, y'all, how are y'all feeling about this Highlander movie? Is this something you're looking forward to still? Something that, still has your attention? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Next up, we have a God of War update. Keep in mind, this is going to be, this was purchased by Amazon. So Amazon is taking this over. Now, we talked about this before where like the showrunner was kind of like, I tried to play the game. I can't play the game. He's not a gamer like that. But it's the same dude, I believe, that did Babylon 5 or Babylon 500, whatever that sci-fi show was. So he's got a good track record with doing sci-fi stuff. But we do have a couple updates here about what we can expect with this TV series. And it says here, it is season 1, 10 episodes. Okay, so 10 episodes is pretty good. One of the more annoying things that we used to have was having a show only have like 6 episodes or something ridiculous like that. So having 10 episodes, I think, is solid. The script is still being written. Now this is going to take on the story, the Norse era. So this is like more so the PS5 games, where it focuses on Kratos and his son Atreus. And the game director, Corey Barlog, is going to be involved. So I do like that. I think that's necessary. And filming may begin in 2026 at the earliest, which means we could probably expect the show somewhere in 2027, give or take. So I'm at first I was a little apprehensive about this because I'm like, listen, I've played all the God of War games. I'm a fan of this franchise. I love it. And I was definitely like feeling a type of way that you just gonna skip God of War 1 through 3. Like you just gonna skip those. You gonna skip the Ghost of Sparta. You gonna skip the crazy beef between I'm talking about that on site. Where is Zeus? Where you gonna skip that beef? You gonna skip um uh 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 Kratos going against Hercules, against Perseus? Really? We're not gonna get the door slams? We're not gonna get all the come on, man. But a friend of mine brought it to my attention, like, you know what? It's all the same thing, right? Like every season, if they started from the beginning, would be the same. First, you got Kratos going against Ares. Then you got Kratos going against Zeus. Then you got Kratos going against everybody else. And it's kind of like, all right, yeah, I can see how it's a little repetitive, but at the end of the day, God of War, at least for the first 3 games, it was all about the violence and the rage. That's what it was. It was a game about vengeance. That's all. It was not complicated. My man had one mission, and it was to go kill this god, and nobody was going to get in his way. If they did get in his way, he was going to get some magical weapons, go on a quest, go from hell to heaven to wherever he got to go to finish his mission. And he did that. He did that. So, but here's the thing, and I guess I could understand. It's probably better TV if you go ahead and show a father-son dynamic, right? You probably will get other people outside of the gamers like myself, because I'm going to watch this regardless, right? It's probably a better hook if you have somebody watching this and it feels like, I don't know, Game of Thrones, or it feels like some other familiar thing. So there is more emotion in the Norse story. There is a lot. I would say it's also a more complete story. Like you have the action, you have the emotions, you even got the side quests. Like even the side stories were like really deep and stuff. So I'm still sad that they not starting off with the whole beginnings, because I thought that, showing him with his family and how he got to where he is, because especially when you get to the end, everything comes full circle in a sense for Kratos, in terms of him, dealing with his past. I'm trying not to spoil it for people that haven't played the game, but you do need that. You do need all that other stuff that built up to who he is now, because it's like people just won't leave this man alone. I love how they start the game off like, he's like, yo, man, I'm just trying to fish. I'm just trying to be here with my son. Leave me alone. Like, leave me alone. Oh, but anyway, how do y'all feel about these little updates here for God of War? Are you interested in where they're going to go with this? Do you feel better that the game director is actually on board? Maybe they can have a relationship similar to how The Last of Us did, right? Like, but then again, everybody that was on The Last of Us, like on the creative side, they all played the games and liked it. So I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, guys, feel free to let me know your thoughts. Are you down for this God of War TV series? Is this something you're looking forward to? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let's see. The fact that I have to say that means that it was bad. Maybe. Maybe. I guess. I know it is kind of messed up. I even have to say it, but All right, let's see. Let's go to the rumors. So these are rumors. Feel free to take your grain of salt, however big you want it, however salty you take it. But we've got some rumors here. Most of these, I think all of them, are from Daniel RPK, who is a pretty reliable scooper. More often than not, we can go ahead and take what he says here as being something that can, be worth thinking about. One of them says HBO's A Night of the Seven Kingdoms will have it's already renewed for seasons 2 and 3. Each season will consist of 6 30 to 35-minute episodes. Season 1 is currently set to premiere in early winter 2026. Only 6? Only 6. Oof. Okay. I guess. But it doesn't surprise me. One thing I will say is that HBO has a pretty decent track record of knowing and recognizing when a show has potential and when to pivot away from stuff. So, especially when it comes to the Game of God of War, the Game of Thrones series. But I'm just saying 30 minutes, 35 minutes, man, it sounds like y'all need to drop them episodes. It sounds like y'all gonna have to do at least like 2 at a time or something, because 30 minutes for a show that might come out every week. I don't know. Y'all better have like some deep storylines or something to make people wait, because I am of the opinion that you should have, if you're going to do only 6 episodes, and if you're going to drop things weekly, those episodes need to at least be 45 minutes to an hour. At least. You got to give people something to carry them over until the next week. But we'll see. What else do we have? Next up, we got Star Wars. So Lucasfilm's plans for the Star Wars New Jedi Order era will have reportedly, we have the plans for it. It will be similar to the Mandoverse, The Mandalorian. It will begin with Daisy Ridley's upcoming film. So not that Star Wars thing that Ryan Gosling's in, but later than that. It will gradually build towards a major event that brings together characters introduced in past films. Uh-oh. Stop me if you've heard this before. Star Wars is going to go back to the past and tug on that nostalgia to make things work. Okay. All right. That's shocking. That is absolutely shocking. I never would have thought Star Wars would go back to the past. All this tells me is that y'all finna have a Luke Skywalker cameo somewhere. Y'all finna have Christian Haydenson show up somewhere. That's all that tells me. All right, whatever. Anyway, moving on. We got some other rumors here. We have an animated Spider-Woman and Venom movie that are in development. Now, I'm okay with this because so far, even though Sony has had a terrible track record with their live action spin-offs that did not include Spider-Man, the animated stuff has been all good. The animated stuff, if I'm not mistaken, is also going to be supervised by Lord and Miller, who also did Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse. So, you know what? I'm okay with this. I hope that this Venom that they do has absolutely nothing to do with Tom Hardy's Venom. I hope that they start all over. I hope that it is completely disconnected. I hope that this is a Venom that hates Spider-Man. I hope that they keep that energy. As for Spider-Woman, to be honest, I don't really know a lot about Spider-Woman. So I'm just more so curious to see what they'll do with it. But outside of that, bring it on. Bring it on. I trust Lord and Miller. I trust them with the animated projects. I feel like they can do more with animation anyway. So I'm okay with that. We do have another rumor here for Spider-Man Brand New Day. It says here the villain is reportedly a character who has not been linked to the film until now. So you can expect whoever the villain is in Brand New Day, it's no one that we've seen or heard of until recently. Daniel actually went on to say, I can tell you now that the main villain of Spider Man Brand New Day is none of the villains that we've been hearing about, and it's not Mr. Negative. Okay. So here's one thing I will say though, because I have been anti leak culture. I'm not a fan of leak culture. How about we just don't know who the villain is? How about that? How about we don't need to know who the villain is? Here's the thing. One thing that has been already discussed by directors or even studio heads or whatever is that the leak culture of the internet that unfortunately too many people feed into, it alters how they market the movies. We just talked about how the Captain America Brave New World director was like, man, the leaks already were coming out about Red Hulk and stuff like that. So they was just like, man, we just have to go ahead and show it. Now, I didn't agree with that because everybody does not watch or listen to the leakers. So you giving into them kind of defeats yourself. But at the same time, I don't need to know who the villain is for Spider-Man Brand New Day because I'm going to watch the movie for Spider-Man. That's all. We're not The villains don't make those movies. They are integral in making the movies better, but I don't need to know who it is. Now, here's the thing. You could show me and maybe tell me, oh, this little minor villain's in it. Fine, whatever. But I don't need to. Why don't y'all just leave surprises? Like, what do we really gain in knowing who the villain is going to be when the villain has never been the draw for a Spider-Man movie to begin with? It's always been Spider-Man. So, if Daniel or any of the other scoopers out there know who the villain is, how about we just don't say nothing? How about that? Like, let's just not say nothing. Now, if the trailer reveals it, okay, fine. But if not, why don't we just, like, I don't know, let audiences view the things for themselves? Because I'm of the belief that a lot of these movies could be better if we just continue to go in there knowing less. But anyway, um, let's see. We got another rumor here. The Strange Academy, which is basically the whole school for wizards or whatever, is reportedly back in development at Marvel Studios, and it's currently unclear if the project is being developed for Disney Plus or another format. Well, the only other format would probably be theaters, and if this is going to move forward, this absolutely needs to just be a Disney Plus series. There's no reason why you should, if I'm Disney, I'm not spending that kind of money on the project like this to sit here and be like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and make this a theater type of no, absolutely not. TV series, little Disney Plus thing, drop maybe 2 episodes at a time. Sure. But y'all, I don't see this as a money maker. This needs to just be on Disney Plus. Let us fill in a couple little gaps here and there. Bring what's that black girl's name? Velma. Bring her back or whatever from Ironheart. That's cool. Bring in Wong because he's gonna lead the thing. That's fine. Leave it there. Leave it there. We don't need more than that. Oh, here's a fun one. Stop me if you've heard this before. Blade will reportedly begin filming in 2026. Okay. Okay. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Fool me thrice and thrice and what's the is it fives? 6 5 6 sevenths? How is it? What is it when you get to the 7th time of being fooled? I'm sorry, I didn't even mean to read that. I shouldn't have read it because it feels like a complete gaslight. Are you kidding me? I've been waiting for Blade since 2018, 19. When I see Mahershala Ali in a trench coat, when I see a trailer, then I'll believe it. When I see tickets go on sale, then I'll believe it. Nuh-uh. I don't even care if Kevin Feige says it. I don't even care if this man says, "Oh, we're gonna start filming." Whatever, Kevin. No, whatever. Show me the actual trailer. I ain't playing with you no more. What else we got? Speaking of that, Marvel Studios is reportedly discussing if RDJ will continue to play the role of Doctor Doom after Avengers Secret Wars. Listen, if Marvel is considering whether or not RDJ should come back and continue playing Doctor Doom, let me make this very clear. No, we don't need it. And I love RDJ. I think he's a phenomenal actor. He is a wonderful talent. He has put the MCU on his shoulders and carried it for over a decade. It's time to pass the baton. It's time to give that to someone else. First of all, we already know that it feels like a desperation play to even bring him in as Doom and usurp Cain like Cain wasn't there, building up his own little thing and momentum, but that's another story. RDJ, how long y'all want him to keep playing these roles? I'm just saying, RDJ is about to make Tony Stark money off of y'all for everything he does. Is he worth that cost? Again, I like RDJ a lot. He does great work. I love him as an actor. I love his performances. Do we need him like that? Does the MCU need to have him? And here's the critical thing. Secret Wars, according to Kevin Feige, they're going to reset singular timelines. In other words, this is going to be that soft reboot that many of us suspected would happen in the first place. This is the time where you do not need to overcommit yourself to anyone, and you could just recast, start over. You can do it right now. Because what happens when RDJ, how old is RDJ right now? Let me see. He is 60 years old. Robert Downey Jr. right now is 60 years old. According to a press event, Kevin Feige said that they came up with another 7-year project or, plans for the next 7 years. They're not even done filming Doomsday and Secret Wars yet. How old do you want your Doctor Doom to be? I know y'all got the CGI and the VFX and stuff and the de-aging. I know, but for how long? You about to have this man in his 70s going up against the Fantastic Four? Is it necessary? Is that necessary? I'm just saying, I think it's fine. Y'all already made the decision to bring him back. Haha, you got your little gimmick with him as Doom. I think it's time to move on. Go ahead and get that to a different actor. Get Cillian Murphy. You know what I'm saying? Get Mads Mikkelsen. Go get somebody else. You don't need Robert Downey. You don't. Anyway, guys, what do you think about all these rumors and stuff? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. JN, in a Venom remake, who do you want to play him? Um, that's a good question. I'm not very particular on who plays him. I would just need that person to be um an angry white guy. Angry, white, and swole. That's all. That's all I need for them to be, and that'll work. You know what? I mean, listen, y'all want to cast him and everything else. Put Alan Richardson in there if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got Reacher playing a mean Eddie Brock, fine. At least he'll look the role. At least he'll make it really look and feel like what happened in the comics. So, that's fine by me. But listen, just angry white big guy. Insert actor there. So, to be honest, I didn't even have a problem with Tom Hardy playing the role. I just didn't like the direction and the writing that they went in. So, it's fine by me. As long as he hates Peter Parker's guts and its on-site violence, I don't really care who. As long as they just keep that energy. That's all. Does Blade have a director? If not, call Spike Lee. I think I don't remember if they have a director. I know they got a script. And they got the guy Eric Pearson. He was the guy that did Thor Ragnarok. And I believe he did a little bit of Fantastic Four as well. So they got him to finish the Blade script that they supposedly like. As for a director, I get the feeling that they're going to get someone fresh. They will find Marvel has this habit, in my opinion, of finding directors that, let's just be honest, that they can control. They want somebody who's talented, but doesn't have the sway to just get their way. Because as we've known, and as has been reported, Marvel likes to do a whole lot of post-editing after the movie is done. And then a lot of times the directors will be like, man, that's not even my movie. That's not even who I had. That's not even what I did. We heard that from Nia DaCosta. We've heard that from James Gunn, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if you find a director who is an up-and-coming director. Maybe they had like an award-winning movie. Maybe they had something that got some early buzz in festivals. Because when Marvel sees that you have talent, when they see, okay, you got a couple movies under your belt, okay, cool, we know that you can actually be competent, that's when they'll be like, come on over. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they do with that. What is this? Sure, Nelson will do his homework. Dang. Why Nelson got to catch a stray? Why he got to catch a stray? What did Nelson do? What did he do or not do? I don't know. Okay, oh boy. Are we there yet? No, let's do a little feel good news. Where is that? Give me the feel good news. Do I not have it? Hold on. I don't have the feel good news. Oh, there it is. Okay. Could the king be back? Could he be back? So many of you already know that this entire channel has been very, very adamant about making sure the character and the portrayal of T'Challa continues. We started the whole Recast T'Challa petition, pushed that movement to, I would argue, national levels. And, I think over time, as I've been telling people for years, feelings were going to change eventually. People eventually were going to start to understand and see, yes, having T'Challa be back makes sense because it makes sense for everyone else. right? It makes sense for Superman. It makes sense for Batman. Makes sense for James Bond. All of them. But we did start to notice something. We started to notice an odd pattern. And it started off when the the concept of a mantle started to get pushed. Let's be clear. Is it true that Black Panther is a mantle? Absolutely. Technically speaking, yes, it is. But so are other things in the comics. Batman is a mantle. Superman is a mantle. 007, you could say it's a mantle, but it's a designation, whatever, same thing. But what do we see in a practical sense? The same character under that mantle. So, T'Challa being the main character under the mantle of Black Panther for over 50 years, even when other people have had the mantle, the character of T'Challa has persisted like to this day. The argument started to get stronger that apparently, oh, well, it's just a mantle, so it's fine. There were other Black Panthers, so we'll just skip over them and we'll just, we don't need T'Challa. And again, I challenge people when I say use that same argument with any other popular character that has a mantle. Let me know how successful that will be in the future. Let me know how popular a Superman movie will be when it's not Clark Kent. Let me know how much money a Batman movie will make when it's not Bruce Wayne under the mantle. Let me know how that 007 movie will be when it's not James Bond. Let me know. When it's proven to work, I'll relent my statements. I'll just be like, okay, fine. Y'all win. But until we see that to be demonstrated in any capacity, I don't agree. I hate to put y'all boy out there like that. How did that Captain America movie go? Ooh. The guy that had the mantle of Captain America, but it wasn't Steve Rogers, who's always been. How did that do? Didn't Kevin Feige himself use the excuse that the reason why Captain America didn't do well was because it wasn't Steve Rogers, Christopher Evans? But I thought mantles worked. I thought mantles were a good thing. Like what? Why? Anyway, one other thing that we started to notice was that there seemed to be this weird effort in Marvel to no longer portray T'Challa. We noticed it, for example, in X-Men 97. They could have easily used T'Challa from that universe because he was portrayed in the previous animated series. But instead, they decided, we're just going to go ahead and show King T'Chaka instead. And it was already confirmed, I want to say by Bo DeMayo, who was the showrunner of X-Men 97, that, there was a pivot at that time because people were too sensitive after the passing of Chadwick Boseman. So they didn't want to keep showing T'Challa. Now, I say all of this because it seems like the king might be back. Seems like it. It says here, airing on... let me make this bigger for y'all. Airing on Disney Plus in collaboration with Marvel Studios, Iron Man and His Awesome Friends is a brand new animated television show, and the show consists of a collection of shorts, and in 8 episodes, 8, fans get to meet a very small version of T'Challa. Oh, now this is not MCU canon or anything, and this show is dedicated to, it's for preschoolers. But you know what? I think that is a sign in the right direction. You are going in the right direction. If they had sat here and was like, oh, this is just another insert Black Panther here, and we're going to introduce this to the kids. That to me is like, okay, now you're trying to indoctrinate them into this is just a mantle only for this character. But, and okay, maybe it's not MCU related. That's fine. You're teaching the babies that T'Challa is important. You're teaching the babies that T'Challa is friends with Iron Man. I can get down with that. I like that. So maybe, just maybe, the tide is turning. Maybe they're starting to realize, hey, you know what? Maybe T'Challa actually works. Maybe he does matter. Maybe people don't care about just the mantle. Maybe. Anyway, I thought that this was great news. I liked it. And you know what? I wanted to give a little credit where it was due. So shout out to whoever at Disney, Marvel that decided and realized, yeah, having T'Challa around isn't actually the worst thing. If I had kids that young, I don't think my kids gonna watch that now. I would definitely have them watching this, right? But anyway. Y'all let me know. What do you think about this? The Return of the King. Is this something that you're excited for? Do you like it? Do you not care? Will you have your young kids? If you have young kids, watch it. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. How are we doing on time? Okay, now we got more stuff to get through. I was about to say we could watch something, but I don't think it's gonna be all that good. So, y'all okay if we I feel like y'all be itching for this stuff. I feel like y'all just be itching for it. So we gonna play around with this. We're gonna play around with it. Not gonna go too crazy. I don't know. We'll see. I wanted to do the him trailer, but they copyrighted. Unfortunately, I can't do as many trailers because the second YouTube's like copyright, then that's when it's a problem. No, you know what? Before we go into the spicy stuff, let's do a quick thing here. Since we just got done talking about T'Challa coming back, I figured, let me give you a quick, very fast review on Eyes of Wakanda. Now, I don't know if y'all even watched this, but I did get a chance to watch Eyes of Wakanda. It is currently on Disney Plus. It is a 4-episode miniseries that you can breeze through. I think each episode is around 30 minutes, give or take. So again, it's not hard to get through it. The basic premise is that it's almost like an anthology series where it jumps from different time periods. And let's just be honest, it's dealing with side characters, right? It's dealing with characters that were in the Dora Milaje, or more specifically, the Watchdogs. So if you recall from the Black Panther movie, they have watchdogs all throughout the world that come from Wakanda. This is a story about multiple watchdogs over time. So, when it comes to the animation, I think it did take me a second to kind of like get used to it. I'm still kind of like not the biggest fan of it, but it wasn't terrible, right? Like over time, you do kind of get used to it and it's okay. It kind of reminded me of one of those children's books, but like that just kind of came to life, right? So the fighting and action was also decent. I wasn't too mad about it. The writing was okay. A lot of the action that you see here did kind of work, I think, in terms of keeping your attention for the most part. And yeah, I thought that it was not that bad when they would show some of these things. But let's see what else. What else was good about it? Action was good, visuals was okay. I think one thing I did not like, I'm gonna jump back and forth between what I like and didn't like. One thing I did not like, and I thought that this was maybe a little compromising in a sense, was actually the technology. Because the technology I was sitting here looking at it and I was like, wait a minute. It feels like if we're talking about Wakanda from the past. Now, the thing with the technology is that Wakanda's technology is always supposed to be 20, 30 years ahead of whatever current technology is going on in the world, right? They're just supposed to be advanced. Some of the technology, I would argue, almost felt more advanced than the stuff that we got in the future, like in the present day. I was sitting there, I was like, man, it feels like you guys are undermining what Shuri came up with, because I was like, wait, y'all had that back then Shuri's invention does not feel as new or as, impactful, because clearly y'all had all this stuff going on. Y'all had crazier stuff back then. So to me, I think they kind of took a step back. I think they kind of compromised themselves in that aspect. And then the other thing I didn't care for was some of the story. Now, here's the thing: individually, the first 3 episodes, they're just there. They're just episodes. Fine, whatever. The last episode, I think, was obviously the best one because it ties everything up together. However, because the first 3 episodes did not feel like they carried a lot of weight, I'm really under the impression that if you have not watched this whole series, you could probably just watch the last episode and that's it. If you're curious, you can go watch the other 3, but it doesn't feel like there's enough in the first 3 to make them compelling enough for me to care outside of the last episode. Because the last episode, I will say, was probably the best. It does the best job in terms of making this series feel like it has relevancy in the Black Panther franchise. I did like the elements, the sci-fi that they included in there. I thought it made sense. I liked it. It made Black Panther 1 feel more important. And it did make the rest of Black Panther's franchise in the MCU feel important as well. So again, that last episode, good job. I enjoyed it, but at no point did it make me care more about the first 3 episodes. The best comparison I can give to you is if you've watched Predator, Killer of Killers. That was something where it showed you, different time periods, different characters. But when you get to the end, it makes you feel like, okay, all those other things made sense because I cared about those characters, or that meant something. You don't have that same connection outside of a loose thread in this Eyes of Wakanda. So I think they did drop the ball in that aspect. But anyway, overall, I would say Eyes of Wakanda was an okay viewing experience. It did not feel like required viewing. I feel like if somebody just told you what it was, you'd be like, oh, really? Okay, that's interesting, and leave it at that. I don't think that the story is deep enough to make you want to watch. And unfortunately, this is kind of what happens when you make a spin-off show about side characters that no one's really heard of or knows about. So when it comes to the rating for Eyes of Wakanda, I'm probably gonna give it maybe like a 6.5 out of 10. It's okay. It's not great. The mere fact that I could just watch one of your episodes and I don't need to watch the others, and you only have 4 episodes, that means 25, that means 75% of your entire thing is not all that great. Right. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. If you want to watch it, you can. If you're really kind of anti Black Panther right now, maybe you could just watch the last episode. Or if you're just interested in general, feel free to watch it. It's not a big time commitment. It's only like 2 hours. And yeah, it's something you could probably even have on the background too. But anyway, if you guys have watched Eyes of Wakanda, please feel free to let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. All right. Um uh, 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 There we go, Anthony. Thank you so much. RDJ is making at least 100 million and a private jet. Yeah, we actually went over all the crazy stuff he was doing. There is no word in English for 7 times the amount. The general term is sevenfold. I'll take it. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. Let's see. JN. Eyes of Wakanda needed at least 8 episodes. It's amazing. Amazing is not the word I would use, but if you thought it was amazing, that is totally cool. I wouldn't mind if it had 8 episodes, but I need a better cohesion. I need something more than what they gave us. To be honest, like I thought that we were going to get, I know they said it was different time periods. I thought we were going to deal with other Black Panthers. Let's be honest. Even in the comics, if you went to different time periods, your concern and focus was on other past Black Panthers. That's not what they did here. The vast majority is about the War Dogs. So it's very, very extra superficial stuff. If you like that. If you do, great. If you don't feel like you're missing out. All right, got that down. Okay, now let's get into the stuff that y'all probably itching to get into. I don't know if I'm gonna make this a habit. I don't think I will, but let's get a little political. Just a little, right? So I've talked about Dean Cain before. Dean Cain, in case you did not know, he played Superman in the Lois and Clark, TV series, which I liked. I liked that TV series back in the 90s. Okay. I did like it. However, Dean Cain has moved over politically, which is his right, to a more far right conservative, probably even the MAGA movement. And, sadly, Dean Cain has not been relevant since the 90s. Since that Superman. However, with the new Superman movie coming out, people are asking him questions. And when I say people, I only mean the far right TV shows and stuff, because no one else really cares what he has to say. But, and I did a whole episode on it. Maybe I'll post that replay where we talked about how Dean Cain thought that the new Superman is too woke because he's an immigrant, despite the fact that Superman literally is an undocumented alien. Dean Cain decided to get on board and continue this wave by making a big decision for himself. So during an appearance on Fox News, he explained that he spoke to the officials over the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, and he will be joining them ASAP. That's right. He is now going to sign on to be a part of ICE. He said, I put out a recruitment video yesterday. I'm actually a sworn deputy sheriff and a reserve police officer. I wasn't part of ICE, but once I put that out there, and you put a little blurb on your show, it went crazy. So now I've spoken with some officials over at ICE, and I will be sworn in as an ICE agent ASAP. All right. Now, let me just say, I am not anti-police. I do believe that there are flaws in the system of policing. I have friends that are police officers. I respect the hell out of what they do and what they put their lives out there on the line for. But I do believe that the system of policing is incredibly flawed. And for those that need other context, recently with the new administration being in, you have ICE, who is supposed to, on paper, they're supposed to go after immigrant, undocumented or illegal criminals that are immigrants. That was the campaign promise. And it has gotten to the point where many individuals feel as though they are crossing the line. Now, according to them, they now have to wear masks as they go out in unmarked vehicles and disappear people. There's no other way to put this. They go out and disappear people who might be immigrants, might even have their legal status here or not, be damned. And that's where part of the argument is coming up, because many people feel as though due process is not even being implemented, right? Which is part of the Constitution. Constitution does not sit here and say only American citizens get due process. It says any person that is on American soil is entitled to due process. Person, not citizen, person. So what Dean Cain is now doing is opting to join a regime of the government that has also decided to go out, cover their faces, and basically serve as a lawless secret police. I say lawless because the Constitution says you have to have due process, and there have been instances and cases where due process has not been followed. Now, of course, this gets a little bit juicier, because Dean Cain goes on to say, when asked what motivated him to join the organization, he said that America is a country built on patriots stepping up, whether it was popular or not. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Funny. Why is that funny? Because let me get that here. I have to correct something. This man is not his name is not even Dean Cain. In case you did not know, Dean Cain, aka not even Dean Cain, right? He is half Japanese. He's Japanese on his father's side. His name was Dean George Tanaka. So Dean Tanaka is half Japanese. But Mr. Tanaka says that America is a country built on patriots stepping up. I'm curious as to who these patriots were and who are they stepping up against. Are we talking about the patriots that stepped up to commit genocide against Native Americans? No? Oh. Are we talking about the patriots that stepped up to fight against the freedom of Black people? No? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. No Black people involved, no Native Americans. Wait a minute. Are we talking about the patriots that threw the Japanese in internment camps? Oh, but wait, there's more. Mr. Tanaka, did y'all know that those same patriots threw Dean Cain's grandparents in those internment camps in Idaho? Idaho, of all places. In case you did not know, these are the same Japanese that later got reparations from the United States. I'm just asking the question. Are these the patriots you're talking about? Because America has a long history of patriots, and you said it, popular or not, where the Japanese, them same patriots would have looked at you and been like, in there. Go on in there with your grandpappy. And I call this out because this is a byproduct, and I've talked about this all the time, of what happens with the indoctrination of white supremacy ideology. And unfortunately for Dean Cain, he's drunk the Kool-Aid. Dean Cain has probably, and I would argue this is why he changed his name for real, Mr. Dean George Tanaka. You changed your name to Dean Cain because you wanted to sound and look and play the role of a white person. You want it to pass. Many people have done it for Hollywood reasons. I understand that. But the mere fact that you would be complicit and okay with joining a regime that now has been amplified because they just got an extra $20 billion, I think, for ICE now, to go after people that probably would have gone after you and your grandparents and probably your parents. You drink the Kool-Aid. You drink the white supremacy ideology Kool-Aid because you want to be like them. And the problem is, right now, the way we see ICE operate, the way we see this administration operate, there's very little to debate about this. They're only targeting Black and brown immigrants. And then giving selective privileges to white Afrikaner immigrants. It doesn't get any more blatant than that. Black and brown, get out of here. White Afrikaners, you guys are persecuted, even though we have no evidence of it. Oh, come on over. Come on over. No, you get to skip the line. Come on over. First class. That's the regime you want to join? That's the regime you want to represent? I don't think I need to say this. But my man John Leguizamo just came out and has something to say on this whole topic. Now, y'all know John Leguizamo, he's been pretty active. He's been pretty vocal. You know, my man be standing up for his community and all that. He said, what kind of loser volunteers to be an ICE officer? What a moron. Dean Cain, your pronouns are has been. That was next level. That was next level. Because if you know, Dean Cain and all of them far right, they hate them pronouns. They hate them pronouns. But to be the pronoun, your pronouns are has been. John, you ain't have to go that low. You did not have to. That's it. That's it. I can't follow that up. I can't follow it up because it's right. It's right. That's it. I feel bad for Dean Cain because he reminds me of one of those people that believes what he's doing is probably right. And the only thing that he lacks the perspective of is that you're still not that far away, right? You think Black and brown people are down here at the bottom, so it's easy to punch down. But when they're done with Black and brown people, where do you think they're going to go next? I'm just saying, if you follow the progression, how many generations of Japanese you got up in you? You mean you not full Aryan? Like, you not straight from the Caucasus? This is why when we talk about politics, in my opinion, it should always do the best that it can to protect the least of us. You might not have to agree with them. You might not like certain lifestyles or how people look or whatever. But when you protect the least of us, it's not going to affect the rest of us. But when you allow the least of us to get violated, discriminated against, guess what? It's not going to take that long to work its way up the ladder, because once it becomes precedent, that's it. Oh, we can go after that protected group of people. Guess what? If we can go after them, we can go after anybody. Anyway, you guys let me know. How do you feel about Mr. Dean George Tanaka and his decision to join ICE? Think it's a good move? Think it's a bad move? Whatever you think. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. JN, we're cosplaying racial identities in 2025, huh? Hey, some people like to do that. You know, if that's where you feel safe, you know, but I just know that at some point in history, and I feel like we see this happen all the time. And I know I'm about to go on a little rant. I am predicting in the next 10, maybe 20 years, we're going to see a lot of these far right minded folks disappear. I believe that America will correct itself. I'm just an optimist, right? And if you look at history, and I'll give you an example, where are the people that were against civil rights? Where are the Jim Crow folks? Where are the segregationists? They're still alive. They didn't all just die out. Where are the people that were at the picnic? Go look up the history of that term, picnic. Where are the people that were at the picnics eating ice cream during lynchings? Where are the people that were in the pictures of a black person that was lynched in a tree and they all stood for a photo op? Where are they? They're clearly 60, 70, 80 years old, maybe. Did they just disappear? Did they just magically change their minds? I remember watching a video, and it was around 1964, and it was basically a news video of just asking the public, hey, LBJ is thinking about signing this civil rights bill. What do you think about it? These folks were in the grocery market. They was just walking their dog. They was like, civil rights? Don't the black people have enough? Civil rights. Imagine being in a world not that long ago. Where did those people go? So I just have the feeling that a little revisionist history is going to happen soon. That people are going to sit here and be like, MAGA? What? That's crazy. What? No, no. I voted for Obama Jr. 5 times. No. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. I just got that feeling. I don't know. One day I'll make a political channel. One day. When I don't have a job to lose. Let's see. JN, clout is worse than cocaine. Get off that narcotic, man. Listen, ain't nothing more intoxicating than being in a. You know what? Let me keep my mouth closed. Let me be quiet. Let me be quiet. I was about to say some things. See, I'll be getting a little too comfortable. I was going to say some things. All right, let's move on. Let's do the update with the Gina Carano versus Disney outcome. Now, in case you did not know, Gina Carano was recently caught up in a whole civil situation with Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company over her, she calls it firing. They were just like, we just didn't rehire you. Like, your contract expired. We just didn't rehire you, right? Now, she was claiming it was over discrimination and all that. Now, they were saying like, nah, you was saying some things. You was saying and doing some things that people was not, it was making people on the set uncomfortable, right? So you had this whole back and forth. Now, here are a couple caveats to understand. When she filed this lawsuit for wrongful termination or whatever, she's trying to levy the argument of the First Amendment, freedom of speech, right? But the problem that I have with that was that it never made sense, because if you talk about the First Amendment and freedom of speech, It's about the relationship between a citizen and the freedom of speech from the press or citizens to the government, as in the government cannot suppress your speech. The government cannot come in and say, hey, E-Man, you're not allowed to talk about this political subject. That would be an infringement on my First Amendment right, the constitutional right. Me and my employer having a conversation or having discrimination against something I said that might go against their values, that's their right as a private company to do whatever they want to do with me. If they don't like, if I'm sitting here, I don't know, a Bulls fan, but I go work for the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I show up to work in my Bulls outfit every day, they got the right to fire me, right? Like, hey man, that's not what we asked you to do, right? So anyway, we have an update on what happened here. And it says Lucasfilm and Walt Disney Company have reached a mutual agreement in their legal dispute with Gina Carano. Lucasfilm spokesperson told Variety, the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm are pleased to announce that we have reached an agreement with Carano to resolve the issues in her pending lawsuit against the companies. Ms. Carano was always well respected by her directors, co-stars, and staff, and she worked hard to perfect her craft while treating her colleagues with kindness and respect. That's not what y'all said before. Okay. With this lawsuit concluded, we could look forward to identifying opportunities to work together with Carano in the future. All right. So let's go back. First and foremost, one of the allegations that Disney had brought up against her were the things that she was saying online were offensive and harmful to the people that she worked with. You know, she made comments about being a Republican and how that was comparable to being like one of the Jews during a Holocaust. You know, she made controversial statements about pronouns, about trans people, supposedly, and then she was even dropped by her management at that time. My question is, if she was so innocent, why would her management drop her? Right? Like, I don't understand. Like, you're fine, right? So anyway, the other portion of this is that they, according to Disney anyway, they talked about how while she was on, under their employment and she would post certain things that others found disrespectful, they asked her like, yo, can you like you're offending people. Like, people are being offended here. Like, you're saying things that are harmful, that are hurtful. Can you please stop? They gave her multiple chances. They gave her multiple warnings, but she decided to just keep on going on. She was a habitual line stepper. Now, here's the other thing. Two other things to consider. They said here that we look forward to identifying opportunities to work together with Ms. Carano in the future. I think, and from what I've seen, more far right folks have been saying, "Oh my God, Gina Carano won! She won! Yes!" And all I'm saying is, slow down. One, we don't know the actual terms of their settlement. We don't know. We don't know if she's actually gotten paid, because she asked for $75,000 for being out of work and stuff like that. We don't know if they pay that. We don't know. Now, I think the argument could be made that a settlement means that both sides won something. We don't know what she won. I think the mere fact that Disney or Lucasfilm is willing to actually let her work or find opportunities to pay her, maybe that's a win, but maybe it's not. Let me just say this. I would not be surprised if the search for identifying opportunities to working with Miss Carano goes on indefinitely. Oh yeah, we'll find you a job. We're gonna find you a job right next to the black building, next to the white building where Tommy works. Right over there. Yep, I'm gonna get you that job over there where Tommy works. Just keep on checking with me and I'll get back to you. We're going to keep looking. We mutually agree that we will keep identifying opportunities. Then nothing about that sound concrete. It would have been different if it was like, hey, we agreed to doing a project with her. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Nah, that ain't what they said. They said we look forward. They didn't even say that they're going to do it. They just said that they excited to look. Ooh, that's got to be. I'm sorry. Y'all going to have to come a little harder than that. I'm saying if I was Gina, I'd need to hear more. And maybe there is more, but we're excited to look for opportunities. I've been trying to tell people, I don't know why y'all getting so excited, thinking that Gina just won like this big, huge thing. Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. But nothing about this so far sounds remotely, overwhelmingly positive. Because for all she knows, and I think this would be hilarious, Disney and Lucasfilm, they might put her in a project that they know finna get canceled. What's going to happen when they like, hey, Gina, hey, girl, what's up, big head? How are you? We found an opportunity for you. Mm-hmm. Guess what? You about to be a character in the Acolyte season 3. Girl, I know you can't wait. Mm-hmm. Oh, season 2? We don't know if that's going to happen. But season 3, we got you. Oh, yeah. And guess what? Your fans are going to love it. We knew how much they loved the Acolyte season 1. They're going to love you in season 3. Season 3. Like, stop. Now, what else? She did say some here as well. It says here that now keep in mind her lawsuit was funded by Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. And I think that is something to also take into consideration. When you have lawsuits for anything, right? And I don't care if you're a sports athlete, musician, whoever, a lot of times when they settle, it's usually because whatever amount that you're chasing or that might be threatening to me or whatever, it might pale in comparison to just hiring the lawyers and keeping a court case going, because you got to pay them lawyers per hour, and them retainers cost money. So a lot of times what you'll see is especially when those cases get taken on pro bono. So when you see that average, let's just say domestic violence from a athlete or something like that, that female, that woman, whoever was the alleged victim, might get their case taken on by a lawyer for free. But then they know that the longer that they keep that athlete in trial, that athlete has to keep paying their lawyer, but the other person doesn't have to pay, right? They're fine. At some point, the athlete's going to be like, man, I just paid you like $5 million and I got to pay you another $5 million in the next month and another $5 million again. Let's just settle. It's just cheaper to settle. It's cheaper. So it's not a surprise if you have the richest guy with unlimited money, damn near, funding you, and you have another company. Disney's not broke. They got money, but it's kind of like it probably just didn't add up. It was probably like, come on, man. Like, ain't nobody going to keep doing this game with her. And we dealing with the richest man in the world who's not going to stop because he just don't care, So I can understand why they would do this. And she did respond, and she said, I have come to an agreement with Disney Lucasfilm, which I believe is the best outcome for all parties involved. She thanks all her lawyers, Elon, and all that. She goes on to say, yes, I'm smiling from my heart to yours. Okay, so listen, she's happy. Disney's happy. Again, we don't know the actual details of this settlement, so I would just urge people, don't go jumping to conclusions, because I already see people, saying like, oh yeah, she won, she stuck it to Disney. And she didn't win nothing. She just won. They came to a mutual agreement, which usually means you didn't get everything you want, but we came to an agreement to just stop. Right? Something that we're both comfortable with. So if you're going to say Gina won, you might as well say that Disney won too. because that's what a mutual settlement usually is. So anyway, you guys let me know. How did you feel about this Gina Carano situation? How do you feel about the whole trial and the outcome? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. Mike, you speaking too much truth to power. Truth, the powers that be is on you. Bad connection. I know, man. I need to stop. I need to stop. I don't want to get canceled, man. I got kids. I can't do too much. Thank you. Shogun, what you got? Thing many people forget about Carano is they let her go because she wouldn't stop making comments. Pascal and others made comments too, but they stopped. Facts. That's what I said. She was a habitual line stepper. She just kept going on and on and on. And they would sit here and work with her. It's not like, oh, the second you said something I don't like, you're fired. No, it was multiple occasions trying to work with somebody, and then they let her contract just expire. Like, I don't know why this wasn't thrown out. This should have been thrown out from the jump. Disney is not the government, so the Constitution don't even matter here. I don't know where they were coming from with this, but whatever. They figured something out. And I don't know. Maybe they even bent the knee. Who knows? Who knows? Mike, that's the technical difficulties you keep seeing when you get too real. Suppression. Oh, was it skipping all you got? I'm sorry. If it was, listen, we know, yeah. Maybe it was getting a little too real. Maybe. JN, the spirit of Fred Hampton was speaking through email. Shout out to Fred Hampton for the shout out. Go watch Jesus and the Black Messiah for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. JN, Carano gets a job. See what happened with Colbert. Hey. Well, again, we don't know what job she got, right? I mean, it's not like she's all that popular either. Remember when she left, wanted to go work for, what was that, Shapiro or whatever. Wasn't nobody checking for her movies. Wasn't nobody going to that. She wasn't bringing in no box office like that. So, you know, who knows? Maybe they'll sit there and just be like, nah, sorry. The numbers ain't adding up. J.A. I'm kind of pissed about there being no Acolyte season 2, bro. I don't appreciate your example. Listen, I already said I would not mind a season 2. I just think they need they got to bring in a different writer and director. Bring in different people, but I just know that if they do a season 2, even if they change up whatever, I just know it's going to piss off a certain segment of the internet. So I'm for it. I'm okay if they want to do a second one. I just think it'll be hilarious if they put her in that product, because now that's going to put them people in a very awkward position. You was just cheering for her. So what you not going to do? You not going to watch? What you gonna do, huh? What you gonna do? That's what I'm saying. If I was Disney and I was petty, I would have done that. I would put her in the wokest of woke movies or TV shows and be like, there you go. Have fun. You're welcome. All right. Guys, that's not it. We got one more. Got to talk about South Park and the government. Yes. Apparently, this is not stopped. In case you missed it, South Park has signed a deal, and they got paid like, I don't know, $5 billion or something like that. Basically, they are secure for the next 5 years. And with that security, they said, say less, we about to go in. And when I say they went in, they went right in on President Trump himself. And we talked about it last week, or the week before. The episodes have come out. They have made proper fun of him. The White House has responded. And right now we are having a continuation of all of this go on. So now, according to Deadline, President ain't feeling this. He was seething. Ooh, that's an interesting word. Seething after he saw the new South Park episode. This is the one that we talked about last time, where it was President and Satan in bed together. Now, if you are just unfamiliar with South Park goes for everybody. Like, nobody is safe. They have been on TV for 20-something plus years. All they do is make fun of people. And I've told y'all this before. One of the worst things you could do, and it was a mistake that they made last time, is to give them attention. This is a lesson that you should learn in grade school, elementary school. If you got a bully, and I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm just going to beat you up at the school. I'm talking about one of those bullies that want to roast you, make jokes on you or whatever. The worst thing you can do is to give them attention and energy. But clearly, this whole administration did not learn that lesson, because what did they do? They posted something on the White House or whatever, and they basically put more attention on the episodes. And I don't have the numbers, but I'd argue they probably had the highest ratings ever, because now you're making people watch out of curiosity and probably hate watch, because you got half of the country riled up. So what do you think South Park is going to do after all that attention? Brand new episode. Already got Kristi Noem and Ice, by the way, featured on the next episode. This is exactly what they said. Oh, you gonna give us energy? Say less. Here we come. Here we come. So what happens even after that? The South Park team responds to Homeland Security, because Homeland Security decided to post an image from South Park of Ice as a way to get people to join, dummies like Dean Cain. And what did they say? Oh, wait. So we are relevant. And they posted a certain hashtag. So you try to joke against the jokester. You're going to lose. You're going to lose every time, because y'all are not funny, right? You're not funny because you're not comedians. You trying to do this against a show that has done and built its legacy off of destroying other figures and celebrities? So, of course, I showed you the image of the next episode with Kristi Noem, head of Homeland Security and all that. So she decided to just ignore my advice. I just said, don't say nothing. Leave them alone. Ignore them. But nah, that ego be tripping. You can't do that. So what did she say? She says her portrayal in South Park was sexist, but doesn't acknowledge how it depicted her murdering puppies. In case you haven't seen it, and if you did not know, she wrote a whole book, and in the chapter, she talked about how she had to kill a puppy and all this stuff. So she is a dog murderer, right? And in the episode, all they did was have her killing dogs. Like every 5 seconds, she was killing a dog. I think she even killed Crypto. Like she was killing dogs. So what does she say? It's so lazy. It constantly makes fun of women for how they look. Only the liberals and the extremists do that. Wait, what? Didn't y'all just get on what's old girl's name? The other senator? No, not Maxine. Yeah, y'all been tripping over Maxine Waters, the other black representative from Texas. They was getting on her too for the eyelashes and everything. Only liberals? Come on now. Don't lie. Devil is a lie. Let's see. If they wanted to criticize my job, go ahead and do that. Well, they did that. But clearly they can't. They just pick something up. They just pick something petty like that. Well, clearly, Jasmine Crockett. Thank you so much. It was Jasmine Crockett. No, they did criticize her job, because they literally had her leading ICE to go grab people who were suspected of being immigrants or undocumented immigrants at a Dora the Explorer show. So yes, they did. They criticized the fact that you did that without due process, violating the Constitution. So yes, they did that. And not only that, I told y'all have to stop messing with these people. You have to stop messing with these people, because during the episode, they also made fun of like the fact that she just had a lot of makeup on, right? She's always got this makeup on. That's her business. I don't care. But they made fun of the fact that a lot of times that makeup would start running, it'd be falling off and whatever. So South Park going South Park, and they took that to an extreme. So of course, South Park goes and they update their profile on Facebook in response to Christy Nome calling them sexist and criticizing her looks. This is what they posted. This is on their profile page right now of her. Why are y'all playing with fire? Why are y'all? This is not smart. Y'all are politicians. Half of y'all are not even good politicians, but y'all are politicians. Leave the comedy and the victimhood somewhere else. Go play with other politicians. Go crack jokes with other bad politicians that can't crack jokes. Do not go for the seasoned veterans of clearly way superior satirical minds. Like the last person. Let me tell you something. It's two people in this world, two people, two entities I'm never messing with. One is South Park. If South Park said we're going to make fun of E-Man and all this, that's it. That's my response. Y'all funny. You got me. If it ain't South Park, it's 50 Cent. Those are the two individuals you just do not interact with. Don't look at him. Don't talk to him. Don't say nothing to him. If they cracking jokes on you, walk away. Just walk away. Because you're going to lose. You're going to lose. So I think that if they ever want this to actually stop, they need to leave South Park alone. Because South Park won't stop. And something tells me the next 5 years is going to be rough. Because they already got their money. They got their contract signed. It's going to be rough. Anyway, y'all let me know. What do you think about the whole government going against South Park? Whose side are you taking? What do you think they should do? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Regina, E-Man, what about crypto? She's a trip. Listen. She don't like dogs. She don't like dogs, and crypto is a dog. So if you saw the episode, she don't like dogs. Simple as that. I'll leave it at that. All right, let's do some DCU updates real quick. And get through this. We got some DCU stuff, some MCU stuff, and then I'll give you my review for weapons, and we'll wrap it up for the night. All right, so Warner Brothers says that the Batman Part 2 will begin filming in the spring of 2026, which means we should be able to get that in October 2027. Listen, we got Avengers movies, we got Spider-Man movies, we got the Batman 2 coming. Man, I'm thinking that this is about to really sit here and have a good time in 2026 and 2027 from the MCU and DCU. I think that is going to be a good time for sure. Now let's another quick update. Superman. I believe, and maybe y'all, if somebody has a better memory than me, I'm pretty sure I predicted this. I'm pretty sure I said, listen, Superman ain't finna make no $1 billion like that. But I do think that it can make anywhere from like $5, maybe $600 million. And Superman has already passed the $500 million mark worldwide. And it's already one of the higher grossing superhero movies of the year. So somewhere out there, the Cavalites and the Snyderites are in pain. They don't need to be, though. You should be on board with anything with this fandom. But for whatever reason, I know some of them are still in pain. And I feel for them. I hope that they get better and get the help that they need. But shout out to Superman. Shout out to James Gunn and the DCU. Because when you have successful movies like this, that means that we can keep having more. And I'm okay with that. Speaking of James Gunn, David Zaslav said that James Gunn will be writing and directing the next chapter in the Super family. So what does that mean? It's hard to say. I I'll just say this. I have been very supportive of the idea of James Gunn taking on Superman because I think that fits in his wheelhouse. I think it works for what he's good at. He could do the emotional stuff. He really loves the character. Great. There are two things that I'm afraid of that he's going to do. He's not going to do, I don't think he will do Wonder Woman. I don't think he's not going to do Batman, and he's not going to do Supergirl. Those are already in the can with somebody else. I'm afraid that he's going to make a crypto movie. I'm afraid he's going to do that. I hope he does not do that because that's absolutely not something I would want to see. And I think it's too niche. I don't think it would work. However, it is very possible that this Super Friends, because he's basically said that he might do a sequel to Superman, but not really a sequel, but Superman will be in it. Sounds like it's going to be like a Super Friends or close to a Justice League movie that he's going to do. And you know what? To be honest with you, I think he can do it based off of, he can do team up movies like with Suicide Squad or with Guardians of the Galaxy. But your name is on this, right? If you can't get, as the head of the DCU, if you can't get a Justice League movie to be amazing, and if you can't trust somebody else to do it, you better roll up your sleeves and do it. You better. So, I think that would probably be the best thing for him to do is to work on a Justice League movie. Unless, and I don't know if the industry is forgiving him or not, unless you go get Joss Whedon. Go get Joss Whedon. You got to get somebody who can make that thing amazing. Joss Whedon did the Avengers, the first Avengers movie. He knows how to make movies. I don't know. But I'm okay with that as long as it's not a crypto movie. I hope that does not happen. Lastly, we have this other little update. Zach Kreger, who just made Weapons and made Barbarian, has written a DC film called Henchman that he would love to make, but hasn't pitched it to DC Studios yet. It would follow a low-level henchman in Gotham who manages to incapacitate Batman, unluckily. And Harley Quinn and Joker have roles in the story. So we're going to talk about Zach a little bit later for Weapons, but I like where this is going. I don't know if this would be a big movie. This sounds more like a TV show, maybe like a little kind of similar to Penguin. Like if you can give me just like 6 episodes or whatever, that sounds fine. Sounds like a comedy. You know what I'm saying? Like Batman accidentally slipped and this dude gets the credit for it. Fine, whatever. But I don't think that this needs to be a movie or anything. But at the same time, I support whatever Zach want to do too. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about all those DCU updates. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. 60, what you got? 50 Cent, South Park, Trump, very petty. All of them. Listen, just no thank you. No thank you. Regina, did you see our Superman statue in Cleveland? Yes, it's actually really dope. It's really, really dope. So yes, that is pretty cool. I haven't personally seen it in person or nothing like that, but it is a pretty cool thing to see. Are you going to sleep? All right. Yeah, whatever. All right, let's get these last couple topics in. Let's do MCU updates. All right. First off, do y'all remember Chris Hemsworth had posted something online? This was like right when the Doomsday cast was announced and everything. So, Chris had posted this thing talking about like, oh, playing Thor was, it's been one of the greatest memories of my life and one of the greatest moments and blah, 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 rah, 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 stuff like that. Everybody was, including myself, it was like, man, are you like, they're finna kill you off? Like, are you leaving? Like, why are you even saying all this stuff? And apparently, he's like, oh, we didn't realize that this got misconstrued and perceived in a different way. Again, He's sitting here talking about thank you for making my journey through the MCU unforgettable. Next up, Doomsday. Like, it sounds like one of those send-offs. It sounds like one of those, like, oh man, I'm about to retire. Thank you for the happy memories. Let me get this last movie out the way. That's the way it sounds. So he had to clear this up and said, I had a few people ask me about it, and someone on my team said, ugh, we've given the wrong impression here. We didn't do any damage control. There was no damage control necessary, but a lot was read into a little. I was already off starting another chapter of his character, and this journey has been the biggest part of my career. So the video was a moment of gratitude, and it wasn't anything else, but it definitely got misconstrued and perceived in a different way. I call cap. I just call cap. Like, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. Like, there's no way you're going to sit here and tell me after playing Thor for this long, you've had, in my opinion, 3 boo-boo movies. I do not think the first Thor movie was good. Some people like it. That's fine. But let's just call it even, say 2.5. Whatever. You've had one good movie. One great movie. Thor Ragnarok was great. You had one great movie. And now all of a sudden you feel compelled to say, oh, thank you for this. This is great. And what now? Sir, it sounds like you about to leave. And now, because Avengers are coming up, and this is about the time where we can't trust nobody, sounds like you lying even more. So I don't trust you. I'm sorry. I don't trust you. I don't trust what you're saying. Sound like the timing of it doesn't make sense. What you're talking about don't make sense. So whatever. Anywho, moving on. Speaking of Avengers Doomsday, we know that other characters are coming. Mystique, the best Mystique, is coming back. Rebecca Romaine. And she says that she's not sure if she's finished filming her scene for Doomsday. And she says, not sure. They haven't finished writing the script. What is going on? What is going on? I understand. We talked about this last time. Kevin Feige defended the idea of quote unquote plussing. Plussing is the action of basically making improvements, right? Oh, we have the script, but we just gonna add this because we felt inspired that way. How is it that y'all are actively filming? Y'all don't have a complete script? Are you serious? It's things like this that make me worry. First of all, we already know for Doomsday and for Secret Wars, we're not even dealing with all the writers. We only have one half of the writing team that gave us Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. We're only dealing with one of the writers. I forget if it's Marcus or McFeely or whoever, but that's all we're dealing with. And y'all going into production with a script that's not done. James Gunn said, nah, we not even doing that over here. We go into production when the script is done and we like it and it's finished. But Marvel out here like, wing it. Y'all better be careful. That's a lot of money y'all putting out there to have a half-finished script that you doing on the fly. What else we got? Jake Schreier, director of the X-Men movie coming up. He says that the X-Men will be recognizably different from the previous franchise. The core idea of what X-Men is involves complexity. It's an incredible opportunity with super interesting characters and much internal conflict. These characters are wrestling with their identity and place in the world that's inherently interesting and complex material. Okay, cool. Like, I listen, as long as you understand. Now, let me take that back. Just go watch X-Men 97. Go watch X-Men 97. There should be nothing else for y'all to do. They have laid out the material, they have laid out the blueprint. Go watch what they did. Go watch how fearless they were in terms of dealing with the discrimination. making commentary on politics and not being afraid to go into issues that might trigger other people, but that's their problem because the X-Men live in worlds of controversy. So go watch X-Men 97. Go do that. I don't really care about anything else y'all talking about. But y'all let me know. What do you think about all those MCU updates? Anything interesting that you like, don't like? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, we got Spider-Man update and then some more Marvel stuff, and then I'll do my weapons review. All right. Next up, we got a Spider-Man update. It looks like we got Mark Ruffalo is now being added. Says here he is returning to reprise the role of Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, in Spider-Man Brand New Day. The move has been rumored for a while, but only firmed up as the script came together and production gears up. We also know that Michael Mando, known as the Scorpion, he's going to be returning as well. And it says here that we talked about this too. John Bernthal, who plays the Punisher, he will be showing up on screen, and this will be his first MCU appearance in a movie since those other Punisher films. And it says here that the plot details are being kept under the vest, but you can bet that in the mighty Marvel manner, Spider-Man, Punisher, and Hulk will all fight one another before figuring out who the real bad guys are. Sure, that sounds about right that they might do something like that. Now, if you're familiar in the comics, there is a instance where actually, I don't want to misquote it, but it was something like Spider-Man was fighting the Hulk and like he did something. And basically, this could be the way that we get out or away from the Smart Hulk. Smart Hulk might finally go away. Maybe it's Punisher, maybe it's Spider-Man, whoever. Somebody gonna piss him off. And the original Mean Hulk might come back. And if that's what they want to do with this, I'm fine with it. But I feel like we have to talk about the even more pressing situation here. How are y'all about to have two of the most notorious people in the same movie together like this again? You about to have Mark Ruffalo and Tom Holland in a movie? Do you know that they have to do some marketing and some press junkets? We're talking about two of the most infamous leakers, spoilers. Do y'all remember the interview? Mark Ruffalo spoiled Infinity War for people during the interview. He was like, "Oh yeah, we all gonna die." Don Cheadle was like, "Man, shut up, man. Shut. Tom Holland been spoiling stuff since forever too." So listen, them Black Widows gonna have to be on standby. That training is gonna have to be intense. Good luck. Good luck, but man, be careful. Both of them dudes, they gotta have it. They gotta have it. But y'all let me know, how do you feel about the Hulk joining in on this? Here's my concern. I'm concerned about the fact that every Spider-Man movie feels like it always needs help. And I don't feel like Spider-Man, the character, needs help. You had Tony Stark. You had all these other characters. You know, like, do we really need all that? Does he always need to have someone there next to him? Like, can Spider-Man just have a movie to himself where he doesn't need 50 different villains. He doesn't need, all these mentors or all these other heroes. Like, I'm not saying it's not cool to have them intersect here and there. That's fine. Like, they had Daredevil, right? Daredevil showed up. He was only there for like 2 minutes. That's fine. I like that. Just saying, can Spider-Man just carry a movie on his own without having the two other Spider-Man show up? Like, can he just have that? Do we have to keep filling up this formula of every time we see Spider-Man, he's got to go up against at least 5 villains? I don't know. Anyway, y'all let me know. What do you think they're going to do with the Hulk? What do you think this Punisher situation is going to look like? And we heard from the rumor before that it's a villain we haven't seen connected until now. Norman Osborn, maybe? I think so. That's where my money's going. Anyway, y'all let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right, let's do this and then we'll do the weapons. Let's go over Marvel's priorities. So this came out last week, and it was an interesting article, interesting report, and it went over basically the state of the superhero movie genre. It went over a lot of the priorities supposedly by Marvel, and it included a lot of our favorite properties here: Black Panther, Blade, even Deadpool. So let's see what they had to say. So they talk about here, as with Superman, the superhero movies overseas, the money that they're bringing in offers a stark reminder of how much things have changed since the pre-COVID days. Okay, so one of the agents out there says there's been a reset. There's a reset of what a hit is. And I don't see them constantly hitting 1 billion as before without China, with Disney Plus exposure post COVID, without megastars. So let me kind of break this down, because this is something that I think a lot of people need to understand when it comes to the state of the movie industry right now, especially when it comes to superhero movies, right? There was a time before COVID, so before 2020, that was like the golden era for superhero movies, right? This is when Marvel was coming up, DC was doing their thing, but Marvel was coming up. We were getting banger after banger. And even if things didn't hit all the way, it was cool because our expectations were lower at that time, right? So you have the whole thing with China. China's just, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's tariffs. I don't know if it's just, I don't know, anti-US resident. I don't know what it is, but China is not the player that they used to be in the past. If you recall, you would see a lot of movies go out their way. Black Panther, for example. You think that Korea's scene was by accident? Absolutely not. They put that scene in there because they wanted to appeal to the Chinese and Asian markets. That's where a lot of extra money would come in, because the domestic money was only going to go so far. So a good reason why Black Panther made 1.3 billion was not just because of China, but just international in general, right? I think it made like 600 million just based off of international numbers. So you have the international stuff, the China stuff, and then of course you have the Disney Plus experience. We already know another factor that affects box office is streaming. I saw all these people sitting here freaking out over Fantastic Four had this big drop, and oh my gosh, the movies are flopping and all that stuff. Here's the thing: when we have shorter release windows, because the longer a movie stays in theaters, the more money the theater makes and the less money, or the less of a cut, the studio makes. So what happens? The studio, they want to get as much money as they can, so they shrunk the window. Instead of a movie being out for like 3 months, you got about 6 weeks. 6 weeks, give or take, and you on our streaming platform right here, right now. What does that mean? That means that we don't have to lose as much money to the theaters, but we can recoup money, hopefully, by getting more subscribers and by adding more content onto streaming. So that absolutely hits on the amount of money and earning potential of a film. So we can't sit here and say, oh man, this Captain America made this much, but the other Captain America made that much, so this one's got to be a flop. It's different now. You have different circumstances and different conditions. Sometimes people, let's say with the old Captain America, they probably was like, man, if I don't watch this movie in the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks. I'm gonna have to wait another 6 months before this thing gets on DVD or Blu-ray. So let me just go check it out if the word of mouth is good, etc. On the flip side, you have a movie out coming out today, and they're like, "Oh, I heard the movie might not be that great. Maybe some people say it's okay. I can wait because in 4 or 3 weeks, it's going to be on Disney Plus. I already subscribed. No need for me to add my money to that box office." So that's why you're going to see those box office totals not be the same. If a movie, whether it's a comic book movie or not, if it doesn't feel like an event, if it doesn't feel like a real need to go out to go see this, then some people just won't go, right? Spider-Man No Way Home, that felt like an event. That felt like, yo, we ain't never seen nothing like this. Gotta go see that. You know what didn't feel like an event? Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts didn't feel like an event. Nobody knew who Thunderbolts was. They were not a home brand name, IP like that. And even when they changed the name to New Avengers, who cares? Damage was done. We're going to see you on Disney Plus in 2 weeks anyway. Didn't matter. So you got to, that's why things like Deadpool and Wolverine. Why? You got Wolverine, one of the most popular characters, tag teaming with a franchise like Deadpool that's already successful. Yes, people love Hugh Jackman. That's where you get that $1 billion from. So anyway, you have that. Of course, post-COVID. Listen, after COVID, things changed. People started to have streaming. People started to deal with inflation. People did not have, ticket prices started to go up. People were not spending as much to go watch movies. That's another thing that affects the box office. And then, I mean, this person talks about megastars. We already realized the death of the movie star is already a thing. You got maybe like 6, 7 bona fide movie stars left in Hollywood. Tom Cruise, The Rock, like it's not a lot of names of celebrities out there that's like, I don't even need to know what you're doing. I'm going to go see that Denzel movie, right? That Will Smith movie. Like, it's not a lot like we used to have in the past. Hey, Brad Pitt's got a movie. Are you sure you want to go see it? You might. Hey, George Clooney's got a movie. Are you about to run out to go see it? Hey, Adam Sandler got something. Are you sure? Like the uncertainty nowadays is a whole lot different. So anyway, those things obviously affect the numbers a great deal. And that's why we can't keep comparing what movies used to do with what we're doing now. Within just those 4 years from the pandemic era, everything has changed. Movies have changed. Audience have changed. Behaviors have changed. Prices have changed. Governments have changed. Everything has changed. And it's the craziest thing because I feel like people don't realize when they are in a social paradigm shift. When you are in a society or cultural event and things are radically changing at a fast pace. And when I say fast, I mean 3-4 years is fast when you look at the vast timeline of being a human being. It's hard to notice these things. So no, you cannot expect every single superhero movie to make $1 billion anymore because nobody's got $1 billion to give every single movie like we used to. All those conditions are different. So we have to reevaluate how we approach and what we classify as a hit, what we classify as a flop. Yes, budgets also need to go down. We've already heard Marvel talk about they were lowering their budgets and doing fewer movies because the returns are not the same. So that only makes good business sense. Anyway, let's keep going here. We see here that somebody else says we are never going to have those days again. They were referring to those every movie's gonna hit $1 billion. Nah, that's over with. You will see maybe a Batman movie, maybe a Avengers movie, a Justice League. Those movies will hit billions, but every other thing, nah, that's over with. It's just not happening. let's see. Jake Schreier sat here and said is doing the X-Men. But in regards to the X-Men, Marvel has indicated to the reps that it's looking for a younger talent for the X-Men rather than A-listers. Why? To keep the cost down. Sounds good to me. I wasn't about to go watch the X-Men just because you got some brand name, Ryan Gosling in there. I don't care about no Ryan Gosling like that. Y'all can love him, and that's great, but he's not going to make me rush to a movie theater for it. So, yes, I'm going to the X-Men for the X-Men. We don't need A-listers. And even in the first X-Men, Hugh Jackman was not an A-lister. It was the role of Wolverine that made him an A-lister at that point. It did say here Marvel is holding July 23rd, 2027 on the release calendar for an unnamed film, and some sources are saying it will not be filled by the X-Men, but who knows? Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Next up, Avengers Doomsday will feature at least one mega payday for RDJ. Sources say RDJ has earned between $500 to $600 million over the course of 7 Marvel movies and 3 cameos, and will not be working at a discount for Doomsday. Neither will Chris Hemsworth. Good for them. As for who will be the star of the film, sources say Pedro Pascal, who is Mr. Reed Richards, is not the centerpiece, but does have an integral role. Regardless, the movie is scheduled to open December 18th, 2026. I have said this before, and I've said this again, and I'm glad that this confirms it. This is what I was talking about when I told y'all repeatedly, and I don't know why people kept trying to argue with me online about this. The Fantastic Four are not A-list characters. They have not been A-list characters in the comics since the 60s, maybe the 70s. Ever since then, they have struggled to be more than B-list characters. Now, let me be clear. The Fantastic Four individually are great. Hey, we're having a certain problem. There's a story in a comic book. You know who we need? Reed Richards. Hey, there's this cosmic event going on. We don't know what to do. You know what we need? Franklin Richards. Hey, there's something else going on. Man, we need a superstar to step in. Hey, there's Sue Richards, right? Like, that's what they're good for. They are great supporting characters. But individually, or like as a story, they're not popular. Marvel wants them to get back to that popularity, and maybe they will get there because the MCU can give them a nice little boost, but they're not that. That's why I told y'all this movie, Fantastic Four, good movie. It wasn't going to make no $1 billion either because there wasn't nobody checking for them like that. Maybe they will in the future, but not like that. Their individual stories were not that great unless Jonathan Hickman was touching them, right? And I'm talking about in the comics. So it's not a surprise that Reed Richards, one of the smartest people in the world, is not the central figure in a Doomsday movie. You would think he'd be, but he's not, because that's not what he works at. He works better as a strong supporting character. Yes, he's going to be a part of the movie. Yes, he's going to have an important role, of course, but he ain't the guy. He's not him. Anyway, well, Franklin might be, but we'll see. Anyway, let's keep going to their other stuff. Next Marvel movie to hit the theaters is Spider-Man Brand New Day. That's July 31st, 2026. That's going to be followed by Doomsday in December and Avengers Secret Wars in December 2027. It says here that the Marvel Brain Trust is feeling no sense of urgency on the long-jesting Blade reboot or even a new Deadpool outing. However, ideas are percolating on a Ryan Coogler helmed Black Panther 3, creating excitement internally. Okay. It makes total sense that Marvel is not going to do anything with Deadpool because Ryan Reynolds already said, I don't really want to do nothing else with Deadpool. If I'm gonna do something with Deadpool, he's gonna be a supporting character, which is fine because that is kind of Deadpool's role also, right? So that makes sense that there's no sense of urgency with Deadpool. Deadpool has probably peaked because he has actually done what he's always wanted to do, which was tag team with Wolverine. That was his pinnacle, right? The only other thing I could see maybe is a Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, but that's for comics. Anyway, being excited for Black Panther 3 also makes sense, right? That makes sense because they're getting one of the hottest directors back in the seat, which is Ryan Coogler. And this is fresh off of Sinners, which did remarkable numbers for what it was. And if it's true that according to Kevin Feige, they want to reset singular timelines, as I've been saying for the longest, this could be the opportunity that the Russo brothers give Ryan Coogler a clean slate. If you reset the singular timeline, all the stuff that you endured that was out of your control, such as the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman and basically changing up your whole story, all of that stuff goes away. Not saying it's forgotten, but it goes away and you start all over again. You can do a Black Panther T'Challa story and you don't have to have the baggage of growing up the kid. You don't have to have the baggage of forcing a premature Shuri into a role that clearly she wasn't ready for yet. You don't have to do all of that stuff. You can start all over again and tell, hopefully, a much more comic accurate, not directly storyline wise, but at least character accurate portrayal of these characters. Not to mention, you got Denzel in there somewhere, so that's got to be good, right? But of course, my issue is this idea, according to this report, that the Blade reboot has no sense of urgency. This is where I have issues because, for one, Marvel has an obligation to the fans. I do believe that because Marvel went out of their way, not some scooper, not some leaker. Marvel went out of their way to go on the cinema. They went out of their way to go on Comic Con and announce the Blade movie. Y'all did that. We didn't do that. Nobody else did that. Y'all did that. You put that promise out there that this is something that you were going to do. And over time, okay, pandemic happened, writer strike, whatever, delay after delay after delay. And according to Marvel, based off of what Kevin Feige said, you're waiting for the magical moment or whatever, similar magic that Deadpool and Wolverine had when Hugh Jackman signed on. Mahershala Ali, 2 times Academy Award winners there. You have a pretty decent writer with the Thor Ragnarok guy and the dude that did Blue Eyed Samurai. Wesley Snipes is right there. What else do you need? What else do you need? No one has asked for a complicated, super deep Blade story. Kevin Feige said, "Oh, I don't want to just have Blade going out there killing vampires." Sir, that is what we want. That is what we asked for. I didn't ask you for filet mignon. I asked you for a double hamburger, hold the pickles. That's what I asked you for. Put the fries in the bag, Kevin. Put the fries in the bag. It's the same thing. You're doing too much. And the idea that there is no sense of urgency behind this movie that actually has interest. We're not talking about whack stuff no one's asking for, like Eternals 2. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something that I think universally the fandom would like even more than the Fantastic Four. And you don't have a sense of urgency? Do you not like money? Why don't you like money? I thought y'all wanted to focus on success. A Blade movie will be a success. Like, it's guaranteed. I would put my man, listen, I would bet a Blade movie drops today. You're making 500 to 600 money. You're making Superman money. Superman money. And I would argue if you put the right director, black director too, by the way, you put the right director back there, or the Blade director, that'll work too, not the Blade, the John Wick director. You put a good director back there, you're gonna get repeat value. I know. I'll be there. I'll watch it twice, 3 times if I have to. That bothers me. That there is no sense of urgency for Blade. As if it has not been proven enough that when you trust in black content and black characters, and I don't believe y'all trusted Captain America. I don't believe that y'all trusted Sam Wilson. I already did a whole article, a whole video about Marvel pulling the racial punches, being afraid to get politically dicey and spicy. That's why, in my opinion, Captain America didn't work, because it was a blah movie. There was nothing spectacular about it. There was nothing, amazing about it. It was kind of boring. It's not bad, but it just wasn't. There's nothing to talk about with it. You could talk about Winter Soldier. You could talk about how, dang, y'all pulled the wool over our eyes with the whole Hydra twist and the Bucky fight and all that. That was dope and all that. We could talk about that. We could talk about Civil War. Man, that movie was great. You had Black Panther debut. You had the Avengers fighting each other. We could talk about that. There's nothing to talk about because y'all were too scared to invest in the character of Sam Wilson, even though I think he still should have been just Falcon, but whatever. But now you don't see the sense of urgency in Blade. And that just lets me know that you have a huge blind spot. It's a huge blind spot. Anyway. I think that's about it for Marvel and their priorities. You guys let me know. How do you feel about Marvel and what they think is more important now? Do you think that they're on point? Do you think that they're on the right track? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. Y'all talk about the Red Hulk fight? You do? Okay. All right. Archer, if I'm not mistaken, MCU character must appear in a Spider-Man movie per Sony agreement. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. If that's the case, cool. I didn't know that. That makes sense. I'm still more so on the issue of overcrowding his movies. That's still more of my issue, Django, I need to get back to you. Sorry. Thank you so much, man. After Cat 4, Thunderbolts, and F4 flopping, can you finally admit there's superhero fatigue? All right. Let's explore that for a second here. Where's my window? All right, let's get this here. So what I find interesting here is that where's Superman? Why didn't you include Superman in there? Because Superman just made over $500 million. So if Superman made over $500 million, um, and they had a budget of 200 million, give or take, that's not considered a flop. As for Fantastic Four, I don't think that that's also let me see, how much was this? Oh, that's 2025. It's hard for me to say that it's a fatigue if uh fans and critics like it, right? What do what do they give this here? I think the cinema score was like an A minus. So fans enjoyed it. If fans enjoyed something like that, I don't see how that's a fatigue. Um, let's see here. This is where let's go to the window here. A minus for Superman. Thank you. Yeah. So vast majority, 86% of critics like Fantastic Four, at least 10,000 plus, 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not bad. I think the problem here, and this is what I was saying. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me finish your actual comment. You critics said these movies were good. You gave F4 an 8. Can you explain why they flopped even though they were good? Okay, there we go. So, I think I did explain all that earlier. I think we need to reevaluate a couple of things in terms of what do you mean by flop, right? Do you think that they're a flop because they didn't make $1 billion? Is that your standard? Because if it is, all these movies are flops, right? Like we can't use those metrics anymore. But at the same time, it wasn't even just us critics, right? Like fans also like these movies. I mean, what was it? Thunderbolts. I thought a lot of people liked Thunderbolts. Did they not? Okay. Look at that. Same thing, right? 88% from critics and 93%, even more over there. What was Superman? Let's see. Did y'all like this too? Wow. So even more people. Now, I think their key difference here in just these examples, you have way more people go out and see Superman versus Thunderbolts, versus Fantastic Four. I think a lot of that had more so to do with name brand recognizing or recognize I'm struggling with that word. Superman is a bigger name and more recognizable than Thunderbolts or Fantastic Four. That's not fatigue. That's literally, who are you? Right? That's literally like, all right, man, I heard there's a party, but Jay-Z's party? Okay, I'll be there. Wait. Johnny's party? Who's Johnny? Who all gonna be there? I don't know no Johnny, right? That's part of it. But yeah, I think that that's not a fatigue. Fatigue, in my opinion, if it were real, and it's not, because you do have other superhero movies that are doing well, it would be if it affected the entire industry. When you see all superhero movies going down, then that's when you would that's when it would be more appropriate to actually talk about superhero movie fatigue. It's never been the case that, because this is what I don't like, is that it's cherry picking, right? And this is why I don't like the argument of superhero fatigue, because no one says this when movies are doing great. People only say it when one or two movies don't meet expectations. We're not even talking about flop. When I think of a flop, I think of something like The Flash. The Flash is a flop. The Flash didn't even make its money back. That's a flop. Now, if a movie makes its money back and maybe a little bit more, that's underperforming. right? That's not a flop. It just underperforms. And as we talked about as well, the budgets are going to start going lower because they know, hey, we can't expect 700-800 million no more because streaming, inflation. Um, I would also argue oversaturation, right? When you have an oversaturation of movies, they don't always feel as much of an event. So it's not like, hey, we're tired of them. It's more like we don't know what to trust. But when we do find out that, hey, this is something worth watching, we'll go see it. So it can't be a fatigue. People can't have it both ways. You can't be like, oh man, look at all this fatigue. Then another movie makes $1 billion or people turn out and they like it. It can't be both, right? I know this is a bit of a side. I hope that explains that, but it just kind of reminds me, back in my religious seminary days, one thing I always used to do was have conversations with people that were non-believers. I really enjoy that. I really like talking to atheists or agnostics because I always like the intellectual conversation, right? And I've always welcomed challenge to my faith. That's one of the reasons why I went to go study it, because I needed to know more, right? And the thing that always came up to me was people would sit here and be like, hey, man, you got Christianity and you got the Crusades, you got slavery, you got Christians just doing wild things all throughout history, throughout time. Like, clearly Christianity's been a problem, right? And I'm like, listen, I am not going to sit here and make no excuses for people that have done bad things in the name of Christianity. No excuses there at all. One, I would always challenge people and say, do you think Jesus would have actually agreed with them? Because it's called Christianity, the following of Jesus, not Christian Christianity, where you go follow other Christians and see what other Christians do. I don't follow other Christians. I follow Jesus. That's one point. But the other point is, what about all the other good things that came from Christianity? So, for example, yeah, you did have the Crusades, but what about Christian ministry missionaries that actually went out and helped people? What about, yes, slavery, but wasn't it Christianity that led a lot of Christian abolitionists as well? Let's even go with black folks. Nat Turner, largest slave rebellion, led by a by a Christian led man. My own people in Haiti, they were all Catholics. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, okay, if you want to blame something here, but you can't really ignore the positive there, then there's got to be other factors, right? It's got to be something else. In my opinion, I think it's greed. I think it's, human nature to just be selfish, stuff like that. I'm not going to blame any religion or non-religion. I think we just at the core have our own other issues. But that's the same way I feel with the superhero fatigue stuff. You can't have it all one way. If you're going to say there's fatigue, it has to be industry wide, because there is no fatigue if there are still successful superhero movies, right? It doesn't make sense. There's got to be other factors. And like I said, I already went through the vast majority of them, but I think, and hopefully that explains it there. J Dub, what you got? Do you think that movie reviewers need to adjust how they measure success of films? I seldom go to movies. I wait for digital or streaming. Good example. My kids are ready to leave when they finish the snacks. So that's interesting, right? So yes, I do think that not just reviewers, but also like the people online, like the box office watchers. The people that I don't really do that. But the people that are like, oh my gosh, this movie had a 60% dip. Oh, there's an 80% dip. And it's like, yo, it's the first week. Chill out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to chill out on like looking at those type of things. I like to judge a movie after maybe a couple of weeks, after people have had time to go see it or not see it. Then we can kind of say like, hey, how much did you make internationally, globally, whatever. But I do think that if we're talking about just movie reviewers, the success of a film, it should quantify as many factors as possible. right? So for example, when I tell y'all about certain movies, I try to give y'all as much context as I can. I'm not going to sit here and compare a Marvel movie with a DC movie. Why? Because they have two different factors going on. With a Marvel movie, you have a franchise that has gone to the top. They've gone to the top and they started to decline, and sometimes they go back up. But even when they're on the decline, they're still levels above other studios. A Marvel movie that makes $400 million might be considered a flop for Marvel, but it would be a welcoming thing if you're like Sony or whatever, right? So you have different levels for different things. Marvel in itself, I think, should be compared with Marvel because they are their own competition at this point. Soon, DCU hopefully will get up there, but they're like 10 years behind. They wasted their time with the Snyderverse. Again, everything is kind of subjective and they're not all, apples to apples. You can't compare the first Avengers movie with Batman v Superman. That's not comparable because they came out at two different times. The expectations of people were vastly different. Avengers came at a certain time where people weren't expecting nothing and it was great. Batman v Superman came out, they had their issues, yes, but at the same time, you had two of the arguably most recognizable characters. And yes, they made about $800 million. That's not a success when you just had a bunch of people that were less popular make $1 billion. So you have all these factors that compare to one another where, yes, 800 million sounds like it makes a lot of money and that's successful, but it's not. Because relatively speaking, the market was saying if Avengers should do this, Batman v Superman should do this because they're more popular, right? There's no reason why an Aquaman movie should make $1 billion and, a Batman movie doesn't. Like, there's no universe where that makes sense. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to put everything into context. So yes, if you're a good reviewer, you should absolutely take those things into consideration, especially if you're going to go out there and talk about it on a big platform. So that's what I would recommend. Just my opinion. What's going on, brother? Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming through. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to my man right there in case you haven't already. Any three movies of your choice after Secret Wars. Honestly, as long as it deals with resets, Blade, Black Panther, and X-Men. Just those are the only things I'm looking forward to after Secret Wars. Mainly because X-Men, that's going to tell me Marvel, that's the direction of whether Marvel's going to make or break it after that. I need to see what they do with X-Men. If they cannot handle X-Men, Marvel is doomed. Blade and Black Panther, those are just things, obviously my personal favorites. But thank you so much for that. Dang, I gotta hurry up so I can get to this weapons. Dang, man, y'all getting on me. Okay. Let's see. Natalie, late but great. Did we hit on Blade? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Let's see. Which day was better? Fantastic Four or Superman? In my opinion, Fantastic Four was. I feel like they kind of the same for different reasons. Like, I enjoy both of them. I think I gave both of them either an 8.5, something like that. I think I gave them both an 8. So like I like both of them kind of equally, obviously for different reasons, but I don't know which one is better like that. Like, I saw Superman twice. I did a watch party for it. I would have done a watch party for Fantastic Four, but it was too short notice. But I am gonna go see it again because I gotta go see it with my daughter. So I don't know. I think it just kind of depends on what you're in the mood for. Like I like both of them. It's kind of equal. Anthony, budgets are out of control. The Tom Cruise movie Deeper is facing problems because they want 270 million. Doug Lyman might walk. Sure. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, budgets are out of control and the returns are not meeting those expectations that used to be back in the day. So it happens. Shogun, since we're talking about it, Exodus 21 16 or 8, I forget, but it literally says God does not like slavery there. Yes, that is true. That is a whole theological debate. I can make that argument as well, that there are very many instances where God in the Bible does not want slavery, but the people do. And because the people have free will and God respects free will, even if he doesn't agree with the decision, goes along with to a certain degree, but tries to move them away from it as well. So you got to read like the whole thing. People like to cherry pick and be like, oh, but look at that verse that said this. No, you have to look at the whole thing, the whole story, and you'll see, like, nah, actually, really don't want you to do that thing over there. Y'all want to keep doing it, but I really want y'all to come over here where you're loving everyone and you're not subjecting people to slavery. But some people ain't ready for that conversation. Let's see. Ty, what is up? Or not Ty, T Young. Kevin Feige needs a serious brother sitting next to him who is not afraid to speak the truth to him. Yes, that would be there. Yes, I agree. But there you go. Okay. Oof, man, don't get me into my apologetics. Don't get me into that. We don't have the time. We don't have the time. We don't have the time. Maybe I see that might be one of those things, like when I do a members page or something, like we could chop it up and just talk about anything. And if that's the conversation y'all want to have, we could do that then. But I can't do that now. Can't do that now. Let's get to this weapons review. Let's get to this weapons review. Because boy, y'all, I know I was dipping my toe and stuff. My bad. All right, let me get back. Let me get back. All right. Where we go? All right. Let's talk about Weapons. So, in case you did not know, Weapons is the newest horror movie, and it comes from the same director, Zach Gregors, who also did Barbarian. I really enjoyed Barbarian, but this is his new film. And just to kind of give you a bit of an intro into what you can expect with this film, basically, Weapons. Hold on. Okay, sorry. When all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanish on the same night at exactly the same time, the whole community is left questioning who, what, where is behind the disappearance between all these kids. So let me start off with what I thought was good in Weapons, right? First and foremost, I absolutely loved the opening narration with how they started this off. And that was with the little kid narrating everything, right? I think this movie excels because of the writing, and the narrating was just part of it. It built up the mystery in such a good way. It kind of gives that little eerie but innocent sense of tone, I guess. And I loved how they basically throw the audience right into the middle of this entire situation. It's like, yo, by the way, here we go. Kids are missing. We don't know why. We don't know how. It just happened. Deal with it. And that's it. That's how we just get thrown into this. And I really enjoyed that. Furthermore, I liked how the characters were developed. I liked how they all made sense and how they were explained here. I was really, really happy to see that you didn't have a lot of loose threads going on in this film. It wasn't like, oh, let's talk about this and then we don't go nowhere with it, right? The characters and their backgrounds, I thought they made sense. And I think that it also helped them make better decisions. Y'all know, if one of my biggest pet peeves with a horror movie is when you have characters that do and say dumb things that don't make sense. That was not the case here. I kept looking every single time at these characters like, okay, are you going to do that stupid thing that they do in horror movies? Are you going to make that dumb decision? No. People made decisions that made sense to their characters, and I was cool with it. And that's where I really thought the writing started to excel for them. I thought it worked for sure. Man, really like this dude too. I liked him too. As for the lore of this story, I thought they did a good job of kind of explaining things, but with a nice balance of not being too explicit with it, right? There was a great balance between not hand holding you, but at the same time, let me give you just enough information so that we can make this story work. And I thought that they did a very good job of that and not, thinking that the audience was too dumb to figure certain things out. So I thought they did a good job with that. Now, the director, I also thought, Zach Kreger, he does a really good job with the editing style here. One of the things that I like was the fact that he would sit here and, just like in Barbarian, he would give you a certain story or a certain character. And right when the tension builds up, right when things are getting crazy, boom, pivot, go to something else, talk about something else, and show you a different perspective. And the reason why I like that was because what he's doing in this editing style is doing something that I believe we all want in movies. When you go sit down in a movie, you want to be taken for a ride. You don't want to know where we're going, right? You don't need to know because the director is the one driving. And every single time he sits there and says, haha, we're going here. Psych, we going here. Psych, we going here. Psych, we going here. And you just like, okay, it's not like you're making two suspect left turns and I'm like, I think you're lost. No. You're going to a destination that I don't know, but I'm allowing you to drive. And I like what he did here because every single time he had me on the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. That gas station scene, for example, crazy. And you're only sitting there looking for more. So I thought that he did a very, very good job in terms of directing the pace, directing the emotion, and directing the tension in the film. Whole time I absolutely felt like, yes, he knew what he was doing with this. And you know what? I have to say that like the editing also did it was really done well, especially when it came to the cinematography. Because one thing that I thought he did exceptionally well, and maybe you'll take it for granted, it was the camera angles. The camera angles and the camera shots were so masterfully done. Listen, this man knows how to make a dark hallway look scary as hell. Okay. And I don't know about y'all, but like the fact that he could make the a door at a house scary and interesting at the same time is crazy to me. Were y'all? So I know some people have seen this. When that door opened to the house, y'all know what I'm talking about. When the door would just open and it was just black, did you not sit there and be like, the fact that he would hold it, he would wait, and he would just allow you to think about anything and let your imagination run. Brilliant. That's smart. So that right there. And then I have to also talk about the sound. The sound and the music, perfectly timed, perfectly done. Let me tell you something. A lot of times horror movies will crank up the volume just to scare you or whatever, which is cheap and it's dumb. Go watch the movie Sinister and you'll know what I'm talking about. But like this movie, man, listen, when certain things was happening, the music was on point. I'll give you a perfect example. During the stakeout, when the stakeout was happening and the door opened, when you hear the sound of the car, I don't know about you, but I was sitting there like, yo, with the car door sounds, too much, but excellent, right? And that was me and my whole theater. Like everybody was like, when you heard the car door, you was like, you know, perfectly done, well executed, really, really dope. So, and then of course, you have some of the other the jump scares. I thought he did an incredibly good job with the jump scares in this movie that I ain't gonna lie. You got me. You got me a couple times. You got me 2 good times. There was 2 good times that them jump scares got your boy. You know, I'm a seasoned vet. I'm a seasoned vet with these horror streets, but they got me. Okay. That I ain't gonna tell you which scene it is. You gonna know. I mean, people that seen it, y'all seen it. But the hoogala boogala got me. Okay. That hoogala boogala, yikes. Like, I can tell y'all right now, when I had that first jump scare, my hands went up like, oh. I was like, why did my hands go up like this? Like I was gonna fight the screen or something. It was stupid, but you got me. Good job. Good job. Because it's hard to do a good jump scare effectively when we've been so conditioned on to look for them and to anticipate them. But this is one of the reasons why I really like Zach's style, because he would take those expectations and kind of flip them. Not too crazy, because I still think James Wan does it even better, but he does a remarkable job with it here. And I really like what he does with just the house. Like when you're in the house, he knows how to make those camera angles look scary. And the only thing I could think of is, man, 7, 8-year-old me, 6-year-old me trying to go to sleep, but I'm looking through the door and the shadows look like they alive and I'm scared and there's something in the closet or whatever. Like just all of that stuff, he knew how to tap into that. And I thought he did an amazing job with it. So that was really dope. Oh, the visuals. Listen, that fork scene, yikes. The fork scene was definitely hard to watch. The other kitchen scenes were also hard to watch. And I think that was definitely something that kudos to the makeup department for that. They did a very, very good job with that. When it comes to the performances, I did think that Julia Garner did a wonderful job, especially in her delivery as a very obviously flawed, complicated character. But I think my favorite character, and I ain't gonna show it, had to be Benedict Wong. I thought he did a great job with what he was tasked to do, and his commitment was all good there. Shout out. I didn't notice, by the way, that was VFX. I didn't know that. I was like, is this that man doing this work? That was VFX. But he did a good job with that. But I think what, especially going back to the story, it was the last act. That last act for me was amazing. The tension was built up. It came to a perfect climax, whether it was intentional or not. I don't know if he meant it to be, but that last scene was funny. That last scene had me dying, had my theater dying. We was cracking up when the weapons were seen. Oh my God. But here's the key, because I usually tell y'all horror and comedy, they don't mix, right? And it's true, in my opinion, that when you have something be funny, it kills usually why something is scary. Now, the reason why it works here, and this is brilliant, everybody can't do this. The comedy did not infiltrate or compromise the sense of urgency within the story or the characters. What do I mean? In other words, just because I'm laughing doesn't make it a laughing matter within the movie itself. So while the scene might look like a slapstick scene from Scooby-Doo or something, it wasn't. Because just imagine if you were in that character's shoes, you would be scared too. I know I would. I was like, listen, I give up. I give up. No, if I see that coming for me, I'm done. I can't outrun that. I can't hide from that. I'm done. So I guess the best example I could give you is, because I'm trying to keep it spoiler free, obviously, it's kind of like with John Wick. Remember in the John Wick movies how it's not a comedy, But sometimes they'll sit here and be like, hey man, whose puppy did you kill? Just some dude named John Wick. What? The Baba Yaga? Oh, hell no. We got to leave. That's funny to us, but it's not funny to them. It's not funny in that world because they know the Baba Yaga going to mess y'all up. That is a fine balance to find in a film. And Zach Cregger, man, he found a perfect line and that worked. So I give him a lot of props for that. And it made the ending incredibly satisfying to watch. Last but not least, let me that's all the good I gave. Let me talk about one bad. It's a nitpick. I'm letting you know this right now. It's not even the biggest deal at all. But I do think that there was a moment where there was a certain character who does make a certain discovery that I think didn't really help the story as much. I mean, I know why it was there, but this character's actions, it seemed like the police could have and should have done the same thing. Because I'm sitting here wondering, like, why didn't the police do this? Or why didn't we hear about that? And maybe it was information that was revealed, but we just didn't know about it. But I just think that they could have used that character who made that certain discovery. They could have added new evidence, or they could have made it something unique that only that character would have picked up on, because the clue that was found, I was like, I feel like that's police work 101, but that's just my, again, super nitpick. Now let's move on to the reason. Weapons is an original mystery that over delivers in excitement and thrills for horror fans. The story, the characters, they keep you on the edge of your seat. Director Zach Cregger, I think, took what he made in Barbarian and successfully leveled up in Weapons. The best thing about this movie is that it has a little bit of everything for audiences, including scares, intrigue, and even a pinch of comedy. So when it comes to the rating for Weapons, I got to give it a 9 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I think that if you liked Barbarian, you will love Weapons. I think that it is a must see in theaters with an audience. It's probably better to experience it that way. I think that you should watch as little trailers as possible. And for those that are scary heads, it is absolutely scarier than Sinners. Sinners to me is like, mild sauce on nachos. Like, it's not gonna make or break anything, right? This one's got a little kick to it. Them two jump scares might mess some people up. I ain't gonna lie. There was a picture here I was gonna put up there, but I didn't want to do it because I know there's some scary heads in here, so I ain't gonna do that to y'all. But I think that this movie does everything that it needs to. I'm just a sucker. I gave it an extra point because it felt so original. You have no idea how refreshing it is as a critic who has to sit here and watch 50, 60 movies a year to see something that finally feels different, especially in this horror genre. So I really enjoy this film. I like it. I will not say it's medium scary. I do think it is scary for some people. So just be warned. But man, what a good film. What a good film. So anyway, if you have seen it or if you plan on seeing it, come on back to this video. Let me know, what did you think about Weapons in the comments down below. All right, let's go. Shogun, you trying to pull it. You trying to pull it. And most of the time it talks about slavery. It's really talking about servitude, which isn't slavery. People try to spin that too. This is also true. Yes, unfortunately, people get caught up with the word slavery and assume that it's chattel slavery, but it's not. It's usually indentured servitude, where they are probably losers of a war and they win their freedom or earn their freedom after like 7 years. That's Definitely not the same thing at all. But people got to study that if they're actually interested. But thank you so much for that, Shogun. I appreciate you. All right, guys, that is it. That is all I got for tonight. I done gave y'all almost 4 hours to make up for last week as well. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all coming through. Do I have anything coming up? I do have a couple. I got a couple things I got to review that are coming up. So I do have some screeners I got to go to, I think next week, maybe. I got to go deal with that plumber situation. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful, safe weekend. I appreciate y'all. You know the routine. Wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.